Chapter 618. Lu Yuan was momentarily stunned when Bibidon suddenly leapt into his arms. After that, he immediately reacted. He extended one hand to hug Bibidon's waist, while his other hand gently patted Bibidon's back to comfort her. Bibidon was very upset. Tears kept falling from her beautiful eyes, and dripped onto Lu Yuan's shoulder. This was the first time Lu Yuan had seen Bibidon cry. In his impression, Bibidon was strong, decisive, beautiful, dignified, and generous. It seemed like she had never been affected by anything before. Even though she knew that he had 3 martial souls, and that his god-slaying spear could kill a transcendent Douluo in an instant, there was only astonishment in her eyes. She wasn't emotionally affected at all. Her composure was very strong. However, she was crying so sadly right now. It was heartbreaking. It seemed that no matter how strong a woman was, she would still feel sad and upset when her feelings were hurt. Perhaps it was because Lu Yuan knew all of her secrets. He was the person who understood her the most in the world. He was also one of the people closest to her in the world. This was why Bibidon didn't hide her emotions in front of Lu Yuan. Instead, she vented them out loudly. It was like a person who was filled with trauma and wanted to find the person closest to her to pour her heart out and heal. Lu Yuan was Bibidon's first choice to vent all of her emotions. As he hugged Bibidon's petite body, his right hand gently patted Bibidon's back. Lu Yuan didn't try to persuade her not to cry. Sometimes, sadness was released through tears. If these emotions weren't completely released and were kept in her heart, they would hurt Bibidon one day. Let her cry. I'll let her cry to her heart's content. It won't be too late to console her after she's done crying. After this, Bibidon should be able to gain a new understanding of the master. Or perhaps, she should have a new understanding of the so-called relationship between her and the master. Just as he had said, he firmly believed that the relationship between Bibidon and the master wasn't true love. This was because Bibidon was too inexperienced and naive back then. She was naive, and thought that she loved him the moment they interacted. After that, she fell into darkness and was tortured. She still missed their initial feelings for each other for 20 years. Was she missing Yu Xiaogang, or her unforgettable first love? Lu Yuan thought that it was the latter. She couldn't forget those beautiful times of love. It didn't necessarily mean that she missed Yu Xiaogang. Bibidon was different from Liu Erlong. Bibidon and the master were more like a modern campus romance. When they parted, they were heartbroken. It was as if they couldn't live without each other. But in fact, their love might not be that deep. First love sounded beautiful, but in fact, how many first loves could come together? When you grow up, experience more, grow up, and experience the polishing of society, you will realize that you were too naive at that time. You were willing to die for love, but in reality, this kind of love might not be able to last until the end. Although first love was beautiful, it couldn't accompany you forever. The person you found in the end would definitely be someone more suitable for you. Then, you would support each other for the rest of your life. On the other hand, Liu Erlong and Bibi Dong were different. She and Bibi Dong had traveled the continent together and experienced many hardships together. Their feelings for each other had been tempered, and gradually, both of them had a favorable impression of each other. It was to the point where they even discussed marriage and even held a wedding ceremony. If it wasn't for the appearance of Liu Erlong's father and the exposure of their relationship as siblings, they would have been a couple. But speaking of this, Lu Yuan despised the master again. This man was really irresponsible. He abandoned Liu Erlong at the wedding and ran away alone, leaving a woman to be looked at strangely by the world. Such a thing, could he be considered a man? Speaking of which, Flender was many times better than the master. He loved Liu Erlong for 20 years and still chose to be single. This was true love. To be honest, Lu Yuan admired Flender from the bottom of his heart. As for the master, he clearly knew that Liu Erlong had waited for him for 20 years, but he was still indifferent. There was not even a shadow of him. Even if he could not accept the relationship between brother and sister, would it kill him to come and see Liu Erlong and ask her to find a better man? Did he have to let this woman struggle in pain? Lu Yuan suddenly had an idea. If he could find a way to let Liu Erlong and Flender be together, it might be a good choice. Not to mention other things, with Flender, he would definitely spoil Liu Erlong. Liu Erlong would definitely be happy for the rest of her life. And Flender could also get the person he loved. It was the best of both worlds. As for the master, he could die. Looking at Bibidon crying so sadly in his arms, Lu Yuan's heart was full of killing intent. This damned person, he would kill him sooner or later. In Lu Yuan's eyes, Yu Xiaogang was now more hateful than Tang San. These two guys were indeed master and disciple. They were both sanctimonious and made people want to kill them. In their eyes, they would never be wrong. The wrong person would always be someone else. Yu Xiaogang had obviously broken up, but he still had the face to eat soft rice. Tang San didn't need to be mentioned. He was taking revenge for personal grudges, but under the guise of justice, he wanted to destroy you on behalf of justice. These two people were really disgusting. Secretly thinking, Lu Yuan slowly withdrew his thoughts. All of his eyes were focused on Bibidon, his eyes full of pity. After a long while, Bibidon finally stopped crying. She slightly raised her head and looked at Lu Yuan's shoulder that was completely wet with tears. Her charming face was a little embarrassed. Moreover, she threw herself into her disciple's arms while she was heartbroken. This made Bibidon's face blush. Abuchi, let go of teacher. Bibidon's soft voice softly sounded, her eyes looking at Lu Yuan. What, after teacher finished crying, you want to kick me away? Looking at Bibidon, Lu Yuan's mouth hooked up into a light smile. However, his expression was very sad, as if he was really abandoned by Bibidon. What are you talking about, stinking brat? Hearing Lu Yuan's words and looking at Lu Yuan's expression, Bibidon raised her eyebrows. She stretched out her hand and directly pinched Lu Yuan's ear. Then, she ruthlessly pulled, causing Lu Yuan to grimace in pain. It hurts, it hurts. Teacher, please let go. Lu Yuan begged for mercy. You deserve it. You actually dare to make such a joke with teacher. Bibidon rolled her eyes at Lu Yuan, her eyes carrying a trace of rebuke. Hehe, I saw that teacher was in a bad mood, so I wanted to make you happy. Lu Yuan laughed. Chapter 619. Is there anyone who makes their teacher happy like this? Bibidon pouted coquettishly as she blushed slightly. Hee. Lu Yuan chuckled as he grabbed Bibidon's jade-like hand and held it in his palm. Teacher, how do you feel now? Are you still sad? Lu Yuan asked softly as he gazed at Bibidon. After crying, I feel much better. I feel much more relaxed. Bibidon said softly. It's good that you're feeling better. Look at your face, it's covered in tears. Lu Yuan chuckled as he let go of Bibidon's jade-like hand. With a flash of light from his star ring, a clean handkerchief appeared in his hand. He took the handkerchief and gently wiped the tears off Bibidon's face. Abuchi, I'll do it myself. Bibidon was still not used to having Lu Yuan wipe her tears so intimately. She grabbed Lu Yuan's hand and said softly, No, teacher, let me help you. You won't be able to wipe it clean yourself. Lu Yuan shook his head slightly as he continued to wipe the tears off Bibidon's face. Lu Yuan's movements were very gentle, as if he was afraid of hurting Bibidon. He gently wiped away all the tears from the corners of Bibidon's eyes. After a while, the tears on Bibidon's face were all wiped away. Her beautiful and flawless face was also revealed. Perhaps it was because she had just been in pain, but her eyes were slightly red and swollen, with a trace of weakness. This made her, who was already lovely and moving, seem even more pitiful. So beautiful. Looking at Bibidon's beautiful face, Lu Yuan couldn't help but exclaim softly. Hearing this, Bibidon's beautiful face couldn't help but blush slightly. She glared at Lu Yuan and said, You've finished wiping. Why aren't you letting go of teacher? Hugging teacher is quite comfortable, right? That is indeed quite comfortable. Lu Yuan grinned. He let go of Bibidon's waist and took a step back. After being released by Lu Yuan, Bibidon was still in a daze. She couldn't help but raise her head to look at Lu Yuan. She didn't feel it when she was being hugged, but now that she was released, she realized that her disciple's embrace seemed to be really warm. Moreover, leaning against his chest gave her a very peaceful feeling. However, Bibidon immediately shook his head and threw away his thoughts. What am I thinking? This is my disciple. Looking at Bibidon's constantly changing expression, Lu Yuan didn't know what she was thinking. Speaking of which, he could read the minds of many people, but Bibidon's mind was sometimes really hard to guess. She was too good at hiding her thoughts. Sometimes, even Lu Yuan couldn't see through her thoughts. So looking at Bibidon's changing expression, he stretched out his hand and waved it in front of Bibidon's eyes. Teacher, what are you thinking about? Why are you so engrossed? After being disturbed by Lu Yuan, Bibidon instantly came back to her senses. She was a little shy at first, then she glared at Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan was a little puzzled. What did he do to provoke her? Cough, cough. Teacher, don't be sad. It's not worth it for that man. You should look forward. There are many men better than you Xiaogang in this world. A three-legged toad is hard to find, but three-legged men are everywhere. With your status, why do you have to be so infatuated with a little Yu Xiaogang? That coward and trash, he's not worthy of you. Lu Yuan softly persuaded. Hearing this, Bibidon became silent. After experiencing today's events, her heart, which had already been shaken by Lu Yuan's persuasion, was once again dealt a heavy blow. Indeed, it was as Lu Yuan had said. Yu Xiaogang didn't consider her existence at all. He even knew that once that disciple of his grew up, he would definitely go against the martial soul palace. He would definitely go against her. But he still came. Not only did he want her to impart the secret of twin martial souls to Tang San, he even shamelessly played the emotional card when she refused. He wanted to use their past relationship to threaten her. This really made Bibidon's heart turn cold. She had treated Yu Xiaogang very well. All these years, if she hadn't sent people to secretly take care of him, how could Yu Xiaogang, this trash, live so comfortably? It was simply impossible. However, as for Yu Xiaogang, he did not even treat her as a dish and had never considered her in the slightest. She hadn't thought about it in the past, but thinking about it today, she looked at it rationally from a different perspective. Bibidon felt that it wasn't worth it. Not to mention other things, just comparing Yu Xiaogang to Lu Yuan, he was far inferior. This disciple of hers was someone who was willing to give her the external soul bone and God's inheritance. He even swore with his martial soul that he would never hurt her in this lifetime. But what about Yu Xiaogang? He only knew how to ask. Even after breaking up, he still had the face to ask for more. What gave him this confidence? Was it because he relied on her love for him? Looking at the slightly silent Bibidon, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile. He knew that after experiencing what happened today, Bibidon should be able to understand Yu Xiaogang more clearly. Not to mention forgetting Yu Xiaogang, the shadow in her heart must have faded a lot. It was good that it faded. Now that the shadow in her heart faded, there would be a chance to completely remove Yu Xiaogang from Bibidon's heart in the future. Teacher, do you still remember our agreement? Lu Yuan laughed softly. Looking at Lu Yuan, who had a smile at the corner of his mouth, Bibidon nodded slightly. She had lost the bet with Lu Yuan after all. It's good that you remember. Then, teacher, from now on, you have to slowly forget Yu Xiaogang, free yourself, and start a new life. This is what you personally promised me. As he spoke, Lu Yuan gently pulled Bibidon's jade-like hand and held it in his palm. He looked into Bibidon's eyes. His gaze was gentle, and there was even a hint of hope in it. Teacher will work hard. Bibidon sighed softly and said, in the end, Yu Xiaogang and I will never be together. This is something that I already knew, so I will work hard to forget him. Let him and Liu Erlong fly together. Fly together with Liu Erlong? Hearing this, Lu Yuan sneered slightly and said, Teacher, I'm afraid you still don't know. This Yu Xiaogang clearly knows that Liu Erlong has been single and has waited for him for 20 years. She has suffered all kinds of coldness and suffering. In the end, he still refuses to see Liu Erlong. Even now, Liu Erlong is still bitterly waiting for a vague goal. What? There's such a thing. Hearing this, Bibidon was slightly stunned. She originally thought that Yu Xiaogang could only blame the heavens for not being able to be together with Liu Erlong. It had little to do with Yu Xiaogang himself. But now that Lu Yuan said this, Bibidon's heart turned cold. He clearly knew that a woman had waited for him for 20 years and spent the most precious youth of her life. In the end, he actually turned a blind eye to it. If he didn't know, it would be understandable. But he knew and still remained indifferent. Could he still be considered a person? Chapter 620. The man she had loved for more than 20 years was actually this kind of plaything? Bibidon felt as if her understanding of the world was collapsing. Was this still the perfect Yu Xiaogang in her heart? She was afraid that any random man on the street would be more conscientious and responsible than this man. Bibidon didn't suspect that Lu Yuan was lying, because these things were easy to investigate. Lu Yuan wouldn't lie at all. It was also because Lu Yuan wouldn't lie that Bibidon was even more shocked. The person she liked didn't seem to be a good person. Was it really like what Abuchi said? Was she too naive? Was that why she fell in love with Yu Xiaogang? Bibidon thought to herself. At this moment, Lu Yuan's final blow really dealt a heavy blow to Bibidon, causing her impression of Yu Xiaogang to become even worse. It could be expected that if this situation continued to develop, Bibidon would completely exclude Yu Xiaogang from her heart. It was very likely that this would happen. And once Bibidon completely excluded Yu Xiaogang from her heart, then that day would be Yu Xiaogang's doomsday. At that moment, Lu Yuan would be able to kill people without restraint. To be honest, the killing intent in his heart could no longer be suppressed. He had clearly given Yu Xiaogang a chance to live, but Yu Xiaogang insisted on seeking death. Although he couldn't kill Yu Xiaogang now, he didn't say that he couldn't teach Yu Xiaogang a lesson. Moreover, there were some lessons that were even harder to accept than death. Outside the martial soul palace, Yu Xiaogang was dragged by the paladins and thrown outside the pontiff's palace. His soul power was only at rank 29, while the paladin's soul power was above that of a soul ancestor. In their hands, Yu Xiaogang couldn't resist at all. No matter how much he struggled, he was still dragged out by the paladins like a dead dog and thrown to the ground. To be thrown outside the pontiff's palace like this was a huge blow to Yu Xiaogang. In particular, Yu Xiaogang's strong and twisted self-esteem was severely violated. He stood up and looked at the pontiff's palace in the distance. Anger continued to rise in his heart, and he clenched his fists tightly. He opened his mouth, as if he wanted to curse. However, his heart trembled when he saw the paladins standing in the palace. He was originally about to curse, but he retracted his curses. He was a very sensible person. If he couldn't win, he would immediately run. Just like in the original work, when he discovered that Douluo was a titled Douluo, the first person to suggest that Shrek should leave was the Grandmaster. That's right, it was him, the so-called Grandmaster, Yu Xiaogang. He was very cowardly. When he first arrived, he was neither servile nor overbearing. He even looked proud because of his relationship with Bibidon. He felt that there was nothing to be afraid of. However, now that Bibidon had personally ordered the door to be closed and he had no one to rely on, he panicked. How could he insult the Pope in front of the Martial Soul Palace? He didn't dare, and he didn't have the guts to do so. Even if he had the Pope's seal, he didn't dare. Those who had the Pope's seal were equivalent to honorary elders of the Martial Soul Palace. Their status was very high in the eyes of ordinary people, but compared to the Pope, an elder was nothing. Other things aside, every elder of the Martial Soul Palace had to bow when they saw the Holy Son, Lu Yuan, let alone the Pope. Elders weren't consecrators. Why were consecrators so powerful? It was because they were rank 95 and above. They were strong, so they had a strong backbone. In addition, they weren't under Bibidon's jurisdiction. What about Yu Xiaogang? He was a rank 29 Soul Grandmaster. Could he have a strong backbone? Obviously, he couldn't. Therefore, he could only say those harsh words in his heart. Bibidon, you will regret this. Yu Xiaogang roared in his heart. Then, he patted the dust off his body expressionlessly and walked away. Although his expression was calm, he was determined to make Bibidon regret what he had done today. He wanted to let him know that he, Yu Xiaogang, was not to be trifled with. It was obvious that his perverted ego was acting up again. Yu Xiaogang walked quickly. Soon, he was farther and farther away from the palace. After entering the street, Yu Xiaogang walked for a while, then turned into a small alley. This was the temporary residence he had rented in the martial Seoul city. Tang San and the others hadn't arrived yet, so he had to wait here for them. This time, he would let Tang San and the others completely defeat the martial Seoul palace. He would let Bibidon know that he, Yu Xiaogang, was powerful. He wanted to prove to the world that he, Yu Xiaogang, was not a piece of trash. Yu Xiaogang's heart was filled with anger. Suddenly, a black gunnysack covered his head. His entire body was instantly plunged into darkness. Then, he felt a pain in his head. A slap directly slapped him to the ground. Following that, he felt a sharp pain. Every part of his body had been severely hit. Occasionally, the sound of bones cracking could be heard. Yu Xiaogang's face was filled with pain. He knew that his arm was definitely fractured. The person outside did not show any mercy. He was kicked dozens of times. Blood flowed out of his mouth. This was a sign that his internal organs were damaged. He wanted to struggle, but the soul power of the person outside seemed to be extremely high. His struggle was useless. Instead, under the repeated blows, his injuries became more and more serious. He felt a little dizzy. His internal organs were burning. The pain was unbearable. He had already suffered heavy internal injuries. If the beating continued, he was afraid that he would be beaten to death. However, just when he thought that he would be beaten to death, the person outside suddenly stopped. This made Yu Xiaogang relax. It seemed that he wouldn't have to die today. However, before he could rejoice, a thick and hot flame landed between his legs. Immediately, Yu Xiaogang's face changed. He let out a painful howl. Ah! Yu Xiaogang howled in pain. His voice was extremely mournful. He waved his hands in an attempt to extinguish the flames. However, it was completely useless. Moreover, this flame burned in an extremely strange way. It only burned between his legs. It did not spread to other places at all. Under the roasting of the flames, a strange burnt smell wafted out. As for Yu Xiaogang, he fainted because he was unable to bear the terrifying pain. Looking at Yu Xiaogang, who was lying on the ground like a corpse, the figure kicked Yu Xiaogang again. However, the fainted Yu Xiaogang naturally did not move at all. The figure waved his hand and extinguished the flames. The flames were indeed extinguished. However, some things would never come back. Looking at this situation, the figure nodded in satisfaction. He reached out and took out a token from Yu Xiaogang's chest. Then, his figure flashed. Only a fiery red afterimage was left in the air. A breeze blew, and the afterimage gradually disappeared. Chapter 621. The sky gradually darkened, and in the main hall of the house on Huxin Island, Lu Yuan and Bibidon appeared. The two of them sat on the chairs, and on the table was a sumptuous dinner. The two of them were waiting for Hulena to come back to eat. Bibidon's face had a shallow smile, and her expression was calm. It seemed that her mood had almost recovered. Lu Yuan, on the other hand, was holding his chin with his left hand, and his pair of eyes were unscrupulously looking at Bibidon's beautiful face. It had to be said that the more he looked at Bibidon's face, the more he looked at it, the more he was mesmerized. Still looking. Facing Lu Yuan's gaze, Bibidon couldn't help but glare at Lu Yuan, and said angrily, "Ari, you can't blame me. Who asked teacher to be so charming, so beautiful that I can't take my eyes off you?" Lu Yuan sighed and said helplessly. Hearing this, Bibidon couldn't help but roll her eyes at Lu Yuan. Her pretty face was slightly red, but the corners of her mouth were slightly raised. She was in a good mood. There was no woman who didn't like others to praise her beauty, and she didn't feel disgusted with Lu Yuan's gaze. First, it was because of her close relationship with Lu Yuan, and second, it was because of Lu Yuan's appearance. Lu Yuan's appearance was definitely the best in the world. He belonged to the kind of existence that didn't flirt with women, but women would take the initiative to flirt with him. In the absence of hatred, basically all women wouldn't feel disgusted when they saw Lu Yuan. It couldn't be helped. When one's appearance was unimaginably high, this was the situation. He only had 4 women now because he didn't take the initiative to flirt. Otherwise, if it was another person who was as handsome as him, he would have at least a dozen girlfriends. Bibidon was also a woman, and she had a good relationship with Lu Yuan. They were the most intimate, so how could she hate Lu Yuan? And in the afternoon, Lu Yuan's hug really gave her a strange feeling. Now, Bibidon's attitude towards Lu Yuan had become a little strange, but even she didn't realize it. Looking at Bibidon, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. A light flashed in his mind, and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. "Teacher, I have a gift for you," Lu Yuan said softly. "You have a gift for me." "What gift?" Bibidon asked curiously. "Hee, don't ask. Open your mouth first." Lu Yuan chuckled. "Open your mouth?" Bibidon was a little puzzled, but looking at Lu Yuan, she still slightly opened her cherry mouth. Her bright red lips trembled slightly, and it really had a different kind of temptation. Seeing this, Lu Yuan opened the jade bottle, and a clear blue pill appeared in Lu Yuan's hand. This pill was transparent, round, and had a layer of strange cloud patterns on it. It was a top-grade ageless pill. Lu Yuan gently stuffed the ageless pill into Bibidon's mouth. When he withdrew his hand, his finger slightly touched Bibidon's cherry lips, causing both of them to tremble slightly. Lu Yuan withdrew his hand as if nothing had happened. Bibidon's pretty face was flushed, and she took the initiative to change the topic. "Abuchi, what did you just give teacher to eat?" Looking at Lu Yuan, Bibidon's eyes had a little curiosity. She knew Lu Yuan wouldn't harm her, so she ate the pill without worry. However, she also really wanted to know what Lu Yuan gave her. Top-grade ageless pill. It can make a person's appearance become younger and stay young forever. "Teacher, you look a lot younger now." Lu Yuan slightly smiled. With a wave of his hand, a mirror appeared in his hand. "Oh." Bibidon looked at the mirror and sized herself up. She found that she was indeed a lot younger. If she originally looked like she was 25 or 26 years old, then she now looked like she was 18 or 19 years old. Her skin was pink and tender, white and lustrous. She looked more youthful and energetic. "Did you prepare this for your senior sister?" Bibidon looked at her appearance and was stunned for a moment. Then, she seemed to have thought of something and asked, "Of course. Teacher, senior sister, share, you all have it." Lu Yuan slightly smiled. "Well, you stinking brat still have a conscience. Your senior sister really loves you deeply. Among all your women, your senior sister loves you the most. Don't hurt her." Bibidon softly sighed. "Of course. I don't even have enough time to love her. How could I hurt her?" Lu Yuan nodded and said with a serious face, "That's good." Bibidon slightly nodded. Her red lips slightly opened, and a soft voice came out. Lu Yuan slightly smiled. Just as he was about to say something, the sound of footsteps suddenly came from outside the door. He and Bibidon couldn't help but look outside the door at the same time. The person who came was Helena. She was wearing a platinum team uniform. She had neat blonde hair and a beautiful face that was as white as jade. Coupled with her charming and somewhat holy temperament, she exuded an enchanting charm. Helena stepped into the room and casually glanced around. However, with this glance, she saw the person she had been yearning for day and night. Junior brother. Helena was stunned at first. Then, her eyes lit up and she let out a cry of surprise. She rushed forward and directly threw herself at Lu Yuan. Seeing this scene, Lu Yuan, who was sitting on the chair, quickly stood up and caught her. "Junior brother, you're finally out?" Helena hugged Lu Yuan's neck. Her hot breath hit Lu Yuan's face as she spoke. "Yes, I'm out. However, the test isn't over yet. After the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament is over, I still have to go in again." Lu Yuan hugged Helena's waist and said softly, "Oh." Helena gently nodded. Her pink eyes stared at Lu Yuan. There was a hopeful look in her eyes. "Then you have to accompany me more in the next few days." "Okay." Lu Yuan rubbed Helena's head and smiled. "Furthermore, after the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, we'll have a very long time alone together. Really? Hearing this, Helena was a little surprised. Being alone with her junior brother sounded very tempting. It's true. Lu Yuan smiled. Junior brother, you're so nice. I love you to death. Helena said coquettishly. After that, she directly pecked Lu Yuan on the lips. Her face was full of joy. Ahem, that's enough. If you want to be intimate, go back and do it later. Can't you see that I'm still here? Seeing the two of them entangled together, Bibidon couldn't help but shake his head. Did these two fellows think that he didn't exist? After hearing Bibidon's voice, Helena was a little reluctant to let go of Lu Yuan. Her pair of flirtatious foxy eyes swept across the room. When she saw Bibidon's appearance, she was stunned. Chapter 622. Teacher, you seem to have become much younger, and much more beautiful. Looking at Bibidon, who looked like an 18 or 19-year-old girl, Helena could not help but say in surprise. This is all thanks to your junior brother's ageless pill, which made teacher become much younger, and at the same time, retain eternal youth. Bibidon smiled slightly. Ageless pill, eternal youth. Hearing this, Helena's eyes suddenly lit up. She immediately turned around, took Lu Yuan's hand, and gently shook it. Her big pink eyes were sparkling, and a coquettish voice came out from her mouth. Junior brother. Hearing Helena's coquettish call of junior brother, Lu Yuan only felt that his bones were about to melt. This seductress was originally good at charm, and her seduction towards men could be said to be extremely strong. Now that she was acting coquettishly, Lu Yuan felt that he could not resist a little. There's a share for you, I won't forget you. I'll give it to you when we get back. Pinching Helena's face, Lu Yuan said with a chuckle. I knew junior brother was the best. Helena giggled, her pair of big pink eyes were filled with burning love. Okay, sit down and eat. Bibidon's gentle voice sounded. Senior sister, let's eat first. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Okay. Helena responded sweetly, and then quickly sat down. This table was square, similar to a square table, but a little smaller. Bibidon sat in the main seat, and Lu Yuan sat on the left of Bibidon. Helena sat on the left of Lu Yuan, and just so happened to sit opposite of Bibidon. Let's eat. Bibidon said softly. Both of them nodded and began to eat. From time to time, there would be a few discussions and Helena's bell-like laughter. After dinner, Lu Yuan and Helena returned to their room after a heart-to-heart talk. After washing up, Lu Yuan sat at the head of his bed and flipped through a book out of boredom. There were some ideas he had written about his new self-created soul skills. One could never have too many self-created soul skills. Lu Yuan's current self-created soul skills were mainly the Spear Technique series and the Void Swimming Dragon. In the eyes of outsiders, the Phoenix Dance's 6 illusions, Vast Ocean Spear Art, and Mountain Sea Fist were all self-created soul skills. But in reality, these things were just gifts from the system. He only had 5 self-created soul skills: Spear Technique, Vast Ocean, Spear Technique, Meteor, Spear Technique, Vortex, Spear Technique, Life Slaughter, and Dragon Roaming Great Void. That's right, there were only 5 of them. Although this was already very good, Lu Yuan was a person who had extremely high requirements for himself, except for his feelings. Naturally, he would not be satisfied with the current situation. With his personality, he would naturally pursue to create more powerful and practical self-created soul skills. Every day, every day, every day, every day. Humans always need to improve. Therefore, Lu Yuan's exploration of self-created soul skills would not stop. In terms of spear technique, at this point, the 4 great spear techniques were actually more or less complete. In terms of movement and attack, the Void Swimming Dragon had reached a very high level. But in terms of his bloodline, Lu Yuan did not make any achievements. Although his use of bloodline power was not bad, in the end, he did not use his bloodline to create practical skills. This was the next part, the direction he had to work hard in. Create a set of self-created soul skills that could be used together with spear technique that belonged to the Golden Dragon bloodline. That's right, it was a set, not a single move. Lu Yuan's ambition was not ordinary. A single move was not very useful. If he wanted to create one, He had to create a set of bloodline soul skills that could be used together with both offense and defense. This was undoubtedly a big project. However, Lu Yuan was very confident in this. His talent for self-created soul skills was not bad. His God-slaying spear martial soul and Polychoria martial soul came from the system, but his talent for self-created soul skills completely came from himself. This was an ability that truly belonged to him. And now, Lu Yuan was undoubtedly developing and using this talent of his. Junior brother, what are you reading? Seeing Lu Yuan seriously reading the book in his hand, Helena, who had just finished bathing and walked into the room, asked curiously. I wrote some thoughts about new self-created soul skills. Lu Yuan smiled as he closed the book and looked at Helena. Oh, junior brother, are you going to create a new self-created soul skill again? After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Helena was a little interested. However, she was not surprised. This was because Lu Yuan had created many self-created soul skills, and she was already a little numb to them. Furthermore, in her eyes, Lu Yuan was extraordinarily talented, and stood at the peak of the continent. Just like Wang Qiu, her trust in Lu Yuan was blind, and she felt that her junior brother was omnipotent. How could such a small matter trouble her junior brother when it came to creating a few self-created soul skills? Yes, I want to create some self-created soul skills that can be used with my bloodline. Lu Yuan laughed softly. Oh. Helena acknowledged before nodding gently. She walked to Lu Yuan's side and sat on the bed. Junior brother, help me wipe my hair. Helena handed a clean towel to Lu Yuan. Perhaps because she had just finished bathing, her hair was still a little wet. Lu Yuan took the towel and gently wiped Helena's hair. You didn't dry your hair just now, so you wanted me to wipe it for you. Lu Yuan laughed as he wiped Helena's wet golden hair. Aya, junior brother, it's good that you know. Don't expose me. Helena pouted. Haha. Lu Yuan chuckled when he heard this, and wiped her hair seriously. Not long after, Helena's hair was dry. After putting the towel to one side, Lu Yuan finally had time to size up Helena. Helena, who had just finished bathing, was like a lotus flower emerging from the water, exuding a different kind of charm. Especially at this moment, she was only wearing a loose bathrobe. A faint fragrance from her body entered Lu Yuan's nose, making Lu Yuan's originally dormant bloodline somewhat restless. Junior brother, where's my face-preserving pill? Helena opened her eyes wide and looked straight at Lu Yuan. It's here. A light flashed in Lu Yuan's hand, and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. He opened the bottle cork, and a clear blue face-preserving pill was poured into Lu Yuan's palm. Is this the face-preserving pill? Helena asked. Yes, this is the face-preserving pill. Lu Yuan nodded and said. Senior sister, for you. Lu Yuan handed the face-preserving pill to Helena. No, junior brother, I want you to feed me. Helena pushed Lu Yuan's hand back, shook her head, and said. Chapter 623. I'll feed you. Hearing Helena's words, Lu Yuan was slightly stunned. Then, he raised his hand, pinched the face-retaining pill, and handed it to Helena's mouth. Eat, senior sister, Lu Yuan said softly. However, Helena still shook her head. I don't want you to feed me with your hands, Helena said softly. Then what do you want me to use to feed you? Lu Yuan asked. I want you to use this to feed me. With that, Helena pointed to her red lips. Seeing this scene, Lu Yuan couldn't help but chuckle. Little fox, you're lighting a fire, do you know that? I know, I'm responsible for lighting the fire, but I'm also responsible for extinguishing the fire. I won't burn you. Helena threw a look at Lu Yuan, her big pink eyes had a hint of charm. Are you sure you want to do this? Lu Yuan said with a faint smile on his face. Of course I'm sure, junior brother, hurry up and do it, Helena said in a delicate voice. Then I won't be polite. With that, Lu Yuan put the face-retaining pill into his mouth, then leaned forward and pressed on Helena's red lips, and then transferred the face-retaining pill over. After being kissed by Lu Yuan, Helena's big pink eyes blurred. Lu Yuan smiled in his heart, and slowly untied Helena's bathrobe. The next day, it was already late in the morning, But Lu Yuan and Hu Lena hadn't woken up yet. As for the reason, there was no need to say. After a while, Lu Yuan finally opened his eyes, and a glimmer of light flashed through his double pupils. He habitually moved his arm, but he felt as if there was a heavy object pressing on it. He tilted his head slightly to look, and good Lord, Hu Lena's small head was leaning on his arm, and there was still a bit of saliva on the corner of her mouth. A pair of lotus-like arms were hugging his waist, and the external soulbone's foxtail was directly wrapped around his body. This lass had actually released her external soulbone while she was sleeping. Moreover, her small mouth was opening and closing, as if she was still having a beautiful dream. No matter how many times I see it, your sleeping posture is still so troublesome. Looking at Hu Lena's delicate appearance, Lu Yuan couldn't help but gently shake his head. Since they were young, Hu Lena's sleeping posture was unflattering. At that time, when he lived with Hu Lena, after cultivating at night, he would often pick up blankets for Hu Lena, and every morning, when he woke up, he would see Hu Lena sleeping soundly. Speaking of which, Hu Lena's appearance looked like a goddess, and she was very obedient to him, but she was never honest when she slept. But although your sleeping posture isn't good, it still looks cute in a different way. Lu Yuan softly laughed. Is that so? Junior brother thinks senior sister is cute. Just as Lu Yuan's voice fell, Hu Lena suddenly opened her eyes, and woke up. You're awake. Did you sleep enough? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. I slept enough. Hu Lena nodded, and then asked, You said I was cute, is that true? Yes, of course my little fox is cute. Lu Yuan pinched Hu Lena's face, and smiled. Hearing this, Hu Lena smiled sweetly, her pair of foxy eyes squinting as she smiled. Wake up, little fox. Teacher has been waiting for us for breakfast for a long time. Lu Yuan said. Okay. Hu Lena answered, and then the two of them got out of bed and got dressed. After washing up, Lu Yuan and Hu Lena went to the pavilion in the middle of the lake to eat breakfast with Bibidon. After chatting for a while, Hu Lena left for the Martial Soul Academy. Their team still needed to practice together in order to prepare for the upcoming tournament. So, even though Hu Lena was very reluctant, she still left. Bibidon went to the pontiff's palace to carry out his duties as the pontiff. Lu Yuan, on the other hand, was bored to death as he sat in the pavilion in the middle of the lake, admiring the scenery. Come out, Sister Xiaodao. Lu Yuan took a sip of tea, and his indifferent voice rang out. Ma Xiaotao's figure appeared in front of him as soon as he finished speaking. Lil brother master, your senses are becoming more and more sensitive. You noticed me as soon as I got close. Ma Xiaodao smiled. It's already been a day. How's the task I asked you to do? Lu Yuan asked. Lil brother master, I'll naturally complete the task you asked me to. You said I'd teach you Xiaogang an unforgettable lesson, and make him wish he was dead, so I used phoenix flames to make a roast chicken. This time, he'll definitely suffer more pain than death. Ma Xiaodao giggled. Roast chicken? Upon hearing this, Lu Yuan was stunned at first, and then the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. He really did not expect Ma Xiaodao to do this. However, for a man, it seemed that there was really nothing worse than losing this. Moreover, the roast chicken was a little tricky. He seemed to remember that there was a wretched uncle called Bu Le in the original work. He seemed to have been made into a roast chicken by Ma Xiaojun using phoenix flames. After he lost that thing, he seemed to have awakened some amazing attributes. Could it be that Yu Xiaogang had awakened some amazing attribute just like Bu Le? If that was really the case, then it would be amazing. Thinking of this, Lu Yuan could not help but smile. If such a thing happened, it would definitely be very interesting. Then who would his partner be? Could it be Tang San? Lu Yuan guessed maliciously in his heart. However, speaking of which, it was also good that Yu Xiaogang did not have this thing. Without this thing, both Bibidon and Liu Erlong could be free. After all, they would not keep thinking about a eunuch. They might feel a little uncomfortable now, but after a long time, would it be possible for them to keep thinking about a eunuch? Wouldn't they feel uncomfortable? Of course, they would feel uncomfortable. Hence, Ma Xiaotao's move was really ingenious. With this, There was no need to worry that Bibidon would not forget about Yu Xiaogang. It looked like he had to properly commend Ma Xiaodao. Sister Xiaodao, you did very well. I have a blazing golden stamen lotus here. It's also an immortal herb. You're now at the peak of level 95. You should be able to reach level 96 after consuming it. I wanted to give it to you a long time ago, but you were still far from level 96 at that time. This blazing golden stamen lotus can help you break through the bottleneck, but it's a little difficult to increase one level, so I didn't give it to you. However, it's time to give it to you now. Lu Yuan smiled and took out a strange immortal herb with fiery red petals and golden flames burning on its stamen from his astral ring and handed it to Ma Xiaodao. Ma Xiaodao did not stand on ceremony. After thanking him, she graciously put it away. By the way, little brother master, this is for you, Ma Xiaodao said as a token appeared in her hand, and she handed it to Lu Yuan. Is this Tang Hao's Pope token? Lu Yuan muttered to himself as he took the token. Chapter 624. Is this Tang Hao's Pope's token? Lu Yuan muttered to himself as he took the token. The Pope's token was very powerful. The person who had it was an honorary elder of the martial Soul Palace, and their status was even higher than the Platinum Bishop. In the original work, Yu Xiaogang had used the Pope's token a lot to show off. Apart from the martial Soul Palace, there were 4 Pope's tokens that had been released. The 3 upper sects each had one, and the Pope's token in Yu Xiaogang's hand was given to him by Tang Hao. With the Pope's token, it could be said that there was basically no obstruction in the martial Soul Palace. Apart from a few higher-ups, the rest of the people in the martial Soul Palace had to bow to the person who had the Pope's token. Lu Yuan naturally wouldn't leave such an item to Yu Xiaogang. Since Tang Hao was already dead, it was time to take back the Pope's token. For example, this time, if he didn't have the Pope's token, Yu Xiaogang, a rank 29 Soul Grandmaster, wouldn't have been able to enter the Pope's palace, let alone see Bibidon, the Pope. Did he really think that anyone could see the Pope? The Guardian Knights didn't care if Yu Xiaogang had any relationship with the Pope in the past. They were loyal to the Pope, and had always done things according to the rules. Even Lu Yuan had to show the Pope's token every time he returned, but he didn't have to report it. Even Lu Yuan, the Holy Son, had to show the Pope's token, so one could imagine how strict the Guardian Knight security was. The Guardian Knights should be the most elite Soul Master Legion in the entire Douluo continent. Thinking about it this way, Yu Xiaogang would lose an umbrella of protection by taking back the Pope's token. He was destined to be an enemy of the Martial Soul Palace, so he wouldn't use the Martial Soul Palace's Pope's token to disgust others. Most importantly, without the Pope's decree, Yu Xiaogang would never have the chance to see Bibidon again. Although Bibidon promised Lu Yuan verbally that she would forget Yu Xiaogang, this woman was very stubborn about her feelings. She really might not be able to do it. This still needed further persuasion from Lu Yuan. Fortunately, Yu Xiaogang was now a eunuch, which was wonderful. He did not believe that Bibidon would be reluctant to part with another eunuch. As long as he was given enough time, he was confident that he could convince Bibidon to forget about Yu Xiaogang. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that Ma Xiaotao's decision to roast the chicken was right. She got rid of the biggest problem in an instant. This was much more meaningful than breaking an arm or a leg. Thinking about it, Lu Yuan put away the Pope's token and stood up to stretch. Speaking of which, it was quite boring to stay here alone. He might as well go to the Angel's secret realm to see Cher. Otherwise, this girl would be very lonely on the 9-step celestial stairs. It just so happened that the finals were approaching, but many teams were still on the way. He could take some time to accompany Chihiro Snow. Lu Yuan arranged for Ma Xiaodao to absorb the blazing golden stamen lotus, while he himself rushed in the direction of the Angel's secret realm. A week later, "Teacher, those teams should be arriving soon, right?" In the side hall of the Pope's palace, Lu Yuan asked softly as he supported himself with one hand on the desk and watched Bibidon go through the documents. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Bibidon's hand that was going through the documents paused for a moment. He chuckled and asked, "Soon. They should be arriving tomorrow. Why? Do you miss Ju Zhuqing?" "A little. We've been apart for more than 3 months. I do miss her a little, Lu Yuan said. You really are a womanizer. Bibidon shook his head and sighed helplessly. This guy was accompanying Cher during the day and Nana at night, yet he still had the mood to think about Zhu Zhuqing. His heart was really big. He really loved everyone. So what if I'm a womanizer? At least I'm responsible. It's not like I don't take responsibility after I flirt with her. Lu Yuan immediately retorted. Isn't being responsible the most basic thing? If you really don't care after you flirt with her and abandon her after you flirt with her, be careful of that thing down there. Bibidon's beautiful eyes glanced at him, causing Lu Yuan's body to tremble involuntarily. A chill ran down his spine. As expected of Bibidon, so ruthless. Can't afford to offend him. I can't afford to offend him. Seeing Lu Yuan's appearance, Bibidon couldn't help but smile. This guy flirted with his disciple and even abducted his daughter. If he dared to not take responsibility, he would have a good time. However, although he was a bit of a womanizer, he didn't lack a sense of responsibility. He had taken responsibility for what he should. As a man, he should have some sense of responsibility. Moreover, this guy treated them very well and loved them very much. Regarding this, Bibidon was actually quite gratified in his heart. The most important thing was that this stinking brat was really good to him. Thinking of this, Bibidon's eyes couldn't help but reveal a touch of gentleness. By the way, teacher, do these academies all arrange accommodations uniformly? Lu Yuan asked as he pulled Bibidon's hand and sized it up. Yes, they're all arranged uniformly. However, if you don't like to stay with the other academies, you can also arrange for yourself to stay in a hotel, Bibidon replied in a gentle voice. Yes, that's for sure. I recall that the best hotel in Martial Spirit City is the Holy Light Hotel. When the time comes, I'll just book the entire floor of the hotel, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Bibidon glared at Lu Yuan as she rebuked, don't waste your money just because you have some money. I don't just have some money now, I have a lot of money. If I want to spend it, I can do whatever I want, Lu Yuan replied with a smile. This wasn't a lie. Currently, Lu Yuan had the income from the Dragon King Palace, so he was indeed quite rich. Although it couldn't compare to the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, the annual income was much higher than that of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Furthermore, within the Heaven Do Empire, the Dragon King Palace didn't have to pay taxes, so this saved him a huge sum of money. His wallet was quite heavy, so Lu Yuan was naturally concerned about the small amount of money that he had to book the entire hotel. Bibidon shook her head in a resigned manner after hearing Lu Yuan's words, but she didn't say anything. It was true that this disciple of hers didn't lack money at all. She had only said that earlier, but with the wealth of the Martial Spirit Palace, Bibidon didn't actually care about the small amount of money that he had to pay to book the entire hotel. All right, let go of my hand, I still have to go through the documents. Bibidon was unable to continue with her hand being held by Lu Yuan. I'm not letting go. Teacher, your hand is too comfortable. I want to hold it for a while longer, Lu Yuan replied with a smile. Sigh, I really don't know what to do with you. Bibidong sighed and put down the pen in her other hand. She turned slightly and looked at Lu Yuan's handsome and well-defined facial features. For a moment, she could not help but be entranced. She couldn't help but admit that her disciple's looks were truly unparalleled in attracting women. As she looked on, Bibidon raised her right hand to gently brush aside a strand of Lu Yuan's slightly disheveled hair. Chapter 625. Today should be the day they arrive. Let's go, Sister Xiaodao. Let's go meet them. Lu Yuan spoke softly with his hands behind his back. Okay, little brother. Ma Xiaodao nodded and said. Then let's go. They'll be here soon. As Lu Yuan spoke, his feet moved lightly. The image of a golden dragon appeared beneath his feet. A dragon's roar rang out as he flew into the air. Ma Xiaodao hurriedly chased after him. Her body turned into a streak of red light as she followed closely behind. In midair, 2 streaks of light, one gold and one red, quickly flew out of the Martial Soul Palace. The Martial Soul Palace's reception area was a place to welcome the participating teams of the various academies. Generally speaking, every academy's accommodation was arranged by this place. Naturally, there were good and bad accommodations. Famous academies and academies that had a good relationship with the martial soul palace would naturally be arranged to have better accommodations. However, those academies that had a mediocre relationship with the martial soul palace and had mediocre teams could only stay in those academies with worse accommodations. Of course, you could also find your own accommodation, provided that you had the money. If you had the money, everything would be fine. If you didn't, you wouldn't be able to do anything. This principle was basically the same everywhere. Lu Yuan and Ma Xiaodao stood not far from the reception area as they waited for the arrival of the teams. At around 9 o'clock in the morning, the teams of the various participating academies slowly arrived. At a glance, the figures in the distance could be seen. It's the Heaven-Do Empire's team. Looking at the familiar swan flag in the distance, Lu Yuan recognized the identities of the participating teams. The Heaven-Do Empire's teams all set off together. The Crown Prince, Xue Qinghe, would also accompany them. Although this Xue Qinghe was a fake, no one knew that. Therefore, on the surface, he was still the Crown Prince of the Heaven-Do Empire. He would be protected by the army. The swan was the inherited martial soul of the Heaven-Do Empire's imperial family. It was also the symbol of the Heaven-Do Empire. Xue Qinghe's carriage was naturally at the front. Behind him were the various teams from the various academies. Godwind Academy, Blazing Fire Academy, Thunder Academy. Hey, it's the Sky Water Academy. Lu Yuan could not help but let out a soft gasp when he saw the team wearing the same ice blue dress in front of him. It had to be said that among the many academy teams, the Sky Water Academy's all-female team was really eye-catching. The most important thing was that each and every one of these girls was beautiful, which made it even easier to attract the attention of others. However, Lu Yuan only took a few glances and then looked away. On this side, Xue Qinghe and the others had already arrived at the entrance of the reception area, and the Heavenly Star Academy team that Lu Yuan had been waiting for had finally arrived. Aside from Xue Qinghe, who represented the Heaven-Do imperial family and was allowed to ride a carriage, the rest of the group had to walk. This was especially true when they arrived at the guest house, which wasn't far from the pontiff's palace. They had to walk as a sign of respect to the martial spirit hall. Therefore, Lu Yuan looked over and saw Zhu Zhuqing at the front of the Heavenly Star Academy team. Zhu Zhuqing was wearing the silver-white uniform of the Heavenly Star Academy team. Her beautiful face still had a cold expression. Other than in front of Lu Yuan, her cold expression didn't seem to change. Behind Zhu Zhuqing was Wang Qiu. This time, the Heavenly Star Academy team seemed to be arranged according to their soul power rank. Behind Zhu Zhuqing was Wang Qiu. Behind her was Du Guyang, then Fu Qinsheng, Ning Rongrong, Ling Wei, Jing Ling, and Jiang Zhu. They were all soul masters, so their speed wasn't slow. After a while, the academy teams and the Heaven-Do imperial family's carriage arrived at the guest house. They had arrived at the Sky Water Academy. Prince Charming. In the Sky Water Academy team, Xue Yue shook her head and looked around. Her large, ice-blue eyes blinked as she caught sight of Lu Yuan's figure. Hearing Xue Yue's voice, the Sky Water Academy team couldn't help but look in Lu Yuan's direction. It was Lu Yuan's first time being looked at by so many beauties at the same time. He smiled and nodded at them as a form of greeting. Seeing Lu Yuan nod, Xue Yue couldn't help but wave her hand excitedly with a smile on her beautiful face. Let's go, Yue. If you want to catch up, we can do it later. Right now, we have to go and settle down. Xue Yue said to Xue Yue. She nodded kindly at Lu Yuan, then retracted her gaze. Okay then. Xue Yue nodded her small head lightly. Then she waved at Lu Yuan and shouted, Prince Charming, we'll go in first. We'll come and play with you later. After shouting, she followed the Sky Water Academy team into the guest house. Lil brother master, your luck with women is not bad. Ma Xiaodao, who saw this scene, said with a smile with a hint of mockery in her tone. Lu Yuan rolled his eyes at Ma Xiaodao and said, All right, Sister Xiaodao, don't spout nonsense. You're just finding trouble for me because I'm living too freely. What do you mean by having good luck with women? I'm just a little girl who admires you. He, who knows if it's worship or admiration? Ma Xiaodao laughed mischievously. You woman, sigh, I'm too lazy to talk to you. Lu Yuan sighed and moved his head away slightly. His eyes looked at the Sky Star team not far away. On this side, many academy teams had entered the guest house. Basically, those who knew Lu Yuan greeted Lu Yuan. As for those who didn't know Lu Yuan, they couldn't help but take a few more glances at such a handsome person. Finally, the Sky Star team also arrived. Lu Yuan. Zhu Zhuqing was walking at the front of the group, so she naturally saw Lu Yuan at a glance. Her jet-black eyes suddenly lit up, and a faint smile involuntarily appeared on her cold face. Brother. If Zhu Zhuqing was still reserved because they were in public, Wang Qiu'er wouldn't have thought so much. She rushed out of the team and pounced towards Lu Yuan. A fragrant wind blew past, and Wang Qiu'er jumped into Lu Yuan's arms. Her two arms hugged Lu Yuan tightly, and her face leaned against Lu Yuan's chest. Brother, Qiu'er missed you so much. Brother missed Qiu'er too. Lu Yuan said with a smile as he gently rubbed Wang Qiu'er's head. Captain. Everyone from the Sky Star team surrounded Lu Yuan when they saw him. Let me go, Qiu'er. So many people are watching. Lu Yuan said softly as he caressed Wang Qiu'er's golden hair. Oh. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Wang Qiu'er was a little reluctant to leave Lu Yuan's embrace. However, she still hugged Lu Yuan's left arm and couldn't bear to let go. Chapter 626. Zhuqing. Lu Yuan called out softly as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing. There was a gentle look in his eyes. Abuchi. Zhu Zhuqing muttered softly. She couldn't hide the joy on her face. She hadn't seen Lu Yuan for more than 3 months, and she really missed him. If it weren't for the fact that they were in the wrong place, she would have dove into Lu Yuan's arms and enjoyed his warmth like Wang Qiu'er. It's been hard on you for the past 3 months, Zhuqing, Lu Yuan said gently. It's not hard at all. Everyone performed well. We've qualified as the Heaven Do Empire's top team. We didn't let you down, Zhu Zhuqing said. You're the first to qualify? Then it seems like we'll have a bye in the first round of the finals. You guys can rest for a while, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Zhu Zhuqing nodded slightly when she heard this. The top 2 teams from every empire would have a bye in the first round, so they could rest for 2 more days. They had been rushing for days, and it was actually quite tiring. Lu Yuan lifted his head to look at everyone and smiled. He said, "It seems like everyone has completed the mission I gave you. I've said that I'll give you guys a satisfying gift if you win all the qualifying rounds. How about this? I'll give you guys these gifts after the finals. It'll be a surprise then." Everyone was delighted when they heard Lu Yuan's words. If Lu Yuan hadn't mentioned it, they would have forgotten about it. However, Lu Yuan had emphasized it. It seemed like these gifts wouldn't be simple. After all, Lu Yuan was never stingy with his gifts. He couldn't be bothered to mention ordinary gifts. Everyone was looking forward to it. They didn't know what kind of gift Lu Yuan would prepare. Leader, what kind of gift is it? Can you tell us in advance? Ling Wei asked curiously. I've already said it's a surprise. You'll know when the time comes. Lu Yuan kept them in suspense. Oh. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ling Wei could only nod, but he was even more curious. Let's go, everyone. I've already booked a hotel for all of you. It's the best hotel in Martial Spirit City, the Holy Light Hotel. I've reserved the entire 6th floor, so you can rest assured. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Holy Light Hotel. If I remember correctly, this hotel's grade is even higher than the Starblue Hotel. It's very expensive. Moreover, only Soul Masters can go in and spend money. As soon as Lu Yuan's voice fell, Ning Rongrong's voice rang out. After all, she was from the 7 Treasures Glazed sect and knew a little about these things. The Holy Light Hotel was very famous and she had heard of it before. Rong is right. This Sacred Light Hotel is only for Soul Masters. If you're not a Soul Master, then even a noble won't be able to enter. Everyone has worked hard in the competition, so we naturally have to give everyone some good treatment. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. Yeah, Captain is so generous. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, the other members of the team couldn't help but cheer. It was great that they could stay in a hotel that was even better than the Starblue Hotel. Lu Yuan smiled and turned to look at Zhu Zhuqing. What about Dean Erlong and the others? And Senior Dugu and the others, didn't they come? Who's protecting you? Lu Yuan directly asked 3 questions in a row. Dean Erlong and the others seem to have gone to arrange for our team's competition. After all, the competition will officially begin tomorrow. Senior Dugu is also here. He's not far away, and this time, Elder Long personally came to protect us. Zhu Zhuqing said. Is that so? Lu Yuan nodded and said, then we'll wait for Dean Erlong and the others to come back before going to the Holy Light Hotel. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing gently nodded. She naturally had no objections to Lu Yuan's arrangement. Holy Light Hotel. Inside a luxurious suite. How have you been these 3 months? Zhuqing? Lu Yuan asked softly as he held Zhu Zhuqing's hand and sat down on the sofa. I've been fine. I just missed you a little. Zhu Zhuqing gently leaned on Lu Yuan's shoulder and said softly. I missed you too, Zhuqing. Lu Yuan said as he turned to the side and hugged Zhu Zhuqing, gently stroking her jet black hair. Rank 53? Lu Yuan asked with a smile as he felt the aura in Zhu Zhuqing's body. Yes, I just broke through not long ago. Zhu Zhuqing nodded and said. Not bad, you've improved very quickly. After this competition, I'll take you to a place after Xingluo annuls the marriage. There, your strength will increase greatly. Lu Yuan smiled. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing asked curiously, what place? The Angel's Secret Realm, the place where you take the angelic test. It can greatly increase the speed of a soul master's growth. It's a very suitable place for you. Lu Yuan said with a smile. The Angel's Secret Realm? Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but murmur softly. She raised her head and asked, that's where you'll be staying for the next 3 months, right? Yes, it's the place where I take the 9 holy sword tests. With your talent, if you go in, not to mention the 9 tests, it shouldn't be a problem for you to take the 7 tests. Lu Yuan smiled. Oh. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but nod lightly. Lu Yuan. After a moment of silence, Zhu Zhuqing suddenly called out softly. Her voice was very soft, and there was a blush on her face. What's wrong, Zhuqing? Lu Yuan asked with some confusion. We haven't been intimate for a long time. Zhu Zhuqing bit her red lips with her pearly white teeth, her voice as soft as a mosquito. However, Lu Yuan's senses were very sharp, and he heard Zhu Zhuqing's words very clearly. Then let's be intimate. Hearing this, Lu Yuan seemed to be stunned. Then, he laughed strangely, looked at Zhu Zhuqing, and lowered his head slightly. In a remote alley, 3 figures slowly appeared. Is this where Uncle lives? Looking at the scene in front of him, a young man with long blue hair and dressed in blue clothes asked aloud. According to the information given by teacher, this is his address in the martial spirit city. A young man with an ordinary face and a jade belt around his waist said. In that case, let's go in and take a look. At this time, a young man with blonde hair and a pair of strange eyes beside them said. Well, let's go in and take a look. The competition is about to start. We don't have to worry about other teams, but the Martial Soul Palace team and Lu Yuan's Heavenly Star team can't be underestimated. We need teachers' help and guidance. The young man with an ordinary face said. Lu Yuan. Hearing this name, the other 2 young men's faces changed almost at the same time. They clenched their fists, and their eyes revealed a touch of blood red, full of murderous intent. Chapter 627. Lu Yuan. When they heard this name, the other 2 youths' expressions changed at the same time. They clenched their fists so tightly that they made cracking sounds. Their eyes were bloodshot and filled with killing intent. This time, I must return all the humiliation he gave me back to him. The blue-haired young man in blue clothes gritted his teeth and forced out a sentence from between his teeth. And me. This time, I must make him and Zhu Zhuqing, this adulterous couple, kneel in front of me and repent. I will let them know the consequences of offending me, Dai Mubai. The golden-haired man clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were filled with ferocity. The tournament doesn't allow killing, so we can't kill them. However, that doesn't mean we can't cripple them. The ordinary-looking youth said plainly. There was a trace of ferocity in his tone. However, his tone changed immediately and he said, however, we can't be careless. We have all lost to Lu Yuan. You all know how strong he is. Although we have consumed those herbs and come into contact with those people, and our strength has increased greatly, we still don't know if we can beat Lu Yuan's Heavenly Star battle team. You have seen what happened to Yu Tianxin. You have also seen Zhu Zhuqing's 10,000-year fourth ring. Lu Yuan was rank 46 2 years ago. Now, his soul power is at least at the Soul King level. Mu Bai, you should be very clear about his soul ring combination. 2 years ago, it was yellow, purple, black, and black. Although he has never released his martial soul, you can guess that his fifth soul ring is definitely 10,000 year, which is yellow, purple, black, and black. Although I have twin martial souls and my second martial soul's soul ring combination is better than his, there is a huge gap between our martial souls. Although I don't want to admit it, the Golden Dragon martial soul is indeed very powerful. Therefore, I may not be able to beat him in a one-on-one fight. On the other hand, you are only soul ancestors. Although your martial souls have mutated and your strength has increased greatly, you may not be able to beat Zhu Zhuqing and Wang Qiu'er. Therefore, we don't have the advantage in terms of strength. Our trump card is the 7-in-1 fusion technique. However, we haven't mastered this 7-in-1 fusion technique yet, and it can be easily interrupted. Therefore, we need a teacher to guide us. As long as we master the 7-in-1 fusion technique, we will definitely be able to defeat Lu Yuan. When the time comes, we will seek redress for our grievances and take revenge for our grudges. He will eventually pay back everything he owes us. After the ordinary-looking young man finished speaking, the blue-haired young man nodded and said, Little Three is right. Then we will listen to you. Everything will be arranged by you. Don't worry, Tianheng. I will definitely lead everyone to victory, the ordinary-looking young man said. It turned out that these three people were Tang San, Dai Mubai, and Yu Xiaogang. The reason they came here was to find the so-called master Yu Xiaogang. I don't know if teacher has obtained the secrets to cultivating twin martial souls. Right now, my clear sky hammer can no longer add soul rings. Don't tell me I can only cultivate blue-silver grass. Tang San clenched his fist and thought to himself, I hope teacher succeeds. This way, I can continue to rapidly increase my strength. Cultivating twin martial souls is indeed very fast. In just 2 years, I have already caught up to Lu Yuan and become a rank 56 Soul King. If I continue to cultivate like this, it won't be long before I have enough strength to take revenge in the Great Stardow Forest. When the time comes, the Sky Azure Bull Python, the Titan Giant Ape, and that bitch Xiao Wu will all die. With that thought, a dark light flashed through Tang San's eyes. Killing intent flashed through his heart. Let's go, Tang San said faintly. He then took the lead and walked in front, while Yu Tianheng and Dai Mubai followed behind him. After walking into the alley, they saw a small house not long after. The door was tightly shut, and there was no sound from inside. It was exceptionally quiet. Seeing the tightly shut door, Dai Mubai couldn't help but ask, Is Grandmaster not here? I'm not sure. Should we open the door and take a look? Yu Tianheng said. Then let's open the door and take a look. After saying that, Dai Mubai walked forward and placed his hand on the door. With a forceful push, the door bolt was immediately pushed open. The bolt broke and fell to the ground with a loud sound. After hearing the door break, a weak voice came from inside the house. Who's outside? It's us, teacher, Tang San said. Is it Xiao San? Come in. Yu Xiaogang's weak and shrill voice came out. Tang San nodded and walked in with Dai Mubai and Yu Tianheng. After entering the house, they turned left. After a few steps, they arrived at Grandmaster's room. The three of them walked into the room and were greeted by the sight of Grandmaster's weak appearance lying on the bed. His body was wrapped in white bandages, and his left arm was in a sling. It was obvious that it was fractured. His zombie-like face was so pale that there wasn't a trace of blood. It was obvious that his body was extremely weak. This was especially true for the area between his legs. It was flat, and there wasn't a single protrusion. It was still wrapped in bandages, and there was even a trace of blood on the white bandages. Seeing this scene, the three of them couldn't help but be stunned, especially Dai Mubai. A thought popped up in his mind uncontrollably. Is Grandmaster gone? The next morning, the sun rose into the sky, and golden rays of light illuminated the earth. Today was the day of the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, and every Academy's team was preparing. The tournament's arena was 1,000 meters away from the Pope's palace. This place was guarded by the most elite Guardian Knights, and the security was exceptionally tight. Furthermore, this was only the beginning of the finals. The final three would be held in front of the Pope's palace. To be able to participate in the tournament in front of the Pope's palace was a huge honor for any Soul Master. However, it was also very difficult to enter the top three. Unlike the qualifiers, commoners weren't allowed to watch the finals. Therefore, those who were allowed to watch the tournament were all Soul Masters, except for the nobles. The Heavenly Star Academy didn't need to fight in the first round because they were the first in the Heaven Do District's qualifiers. According to the rules, they were given a bye. Only in the second round would they need to draw lots to determine their opponents. Therefore, even though the sun was already shining on their buttocks, the members of the Heavenly Star Academy were all lying in their beds and sleeping soundly. Among the various academies, the Heavenly Star Academy's team was probably the only one that was like this. After a long and arduous journey these past few days, they were all tired to death. They didn't want to get out of bed. Furthermore, this group of people had extremely high standards. They didn't think that there was anything interesting about the first round of the tournament. This was because the strong teams were basically given a bye in the first round. Chapter 628. According to the rules of the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, the top two teams from each empire were exempted from the first round of the tournament. As for the Martial Soul Hall Academy, the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, and the Star Luo Imperial Academy, they were exempted from the first two rounds of the tournament and would only appear in the third round. Therefore, in a sense, the first round of the competition was no different from a chicken pecking at each other. At least, that was the case for the Heavenly Star Academy. There were only two opponents that they could take seriously. One was the Martial Soul Palace's team, which consisted of 1 Soul Emperor, 2 Soul Kings, and 4 Soul Ancestors. Their strength was extraordinary. That's right, Hulena had reached rank 59 after absorbing the 1,000-kilogram and Emperor skeleton that Lu Yuan had given her. Half a year had passed since then, and Hulena had broken through long ago. She was now rank 62. She was older than Lu Yuan by 5 years, which meant that she was only 19 years old. A 19-year-old rank 62 Soul Emperor was definitely a terrifying number. Although she couldn't compare to Chihiro Snow, who was a rank 68 Soul Emperor at 20 years old, it was enough to show disdain for countless people on the continent. After all, Chihiro Snow was a rare genius in the Douluo continent. She was the first person in the original book to become a god, so her talent was naturally extraordinary. Furthermore, Chihiro Snow was an innate rank 20 Soul Emperor with full soul power. She was the only one in the entire continent with such talent. Her strength naturally didn't need to be mentioned. The other team was the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's team, which consisted of 1 Soul King and 6 Soul Ancestors. It didn't sound like much, but the troublemaker Tang San, the shameless tiger Dai Mubai, and Yu Tianheng were among them. Tang San, in particular, was a Soul King. Although he was only a Soul King, he had the Clear Sky Sect's ultimate technique. Coupled with his twin martial souls, his strength wasn't something an ordinary Soul King could compare to. Furthermore, they had the 7 Soul Fusion skill. After fusing, their strength might even be above that of the Martial Soul Palace's team. These two teams were the ones that the Heavenly Star Battle team should be paying attention to. It could even be said that if Lu Yuan did not participate, they would not be able to defeat either of these two teams. After all, even though Zhu Zhuqing was powerful, she couldn't defeat Hulena, a Soul Emperor, in a one-on-one fight. It would also be difficult for her to defeat Tang San, who cultivated twin martial souls. Moreover, Lu Yuan guessed that Tang San, Dai Mubai, and Yu Tianheng might have some strange existences on them. However, these things were only known to Lu Yuan. He did not tell the members of the Heavenly Star Academy, because in these two matches, he simply did not want them to participate. Lu Yuan didn't need teammates. Or rather, he needed teammates like Chihiro Snow who wouldn't drag him down. The strength of the members of the Heavenly Star battle team was still too low. Other than Ning Rongrong, who could greatly increase Lu Yuan's strength, the rest were basically useless. Even Zhu Zhuqing could barely keep up with his rhythm. Therefore, either they would participate, or Lu Yuan would participate alone. Basically, it would be like this. In the suite, Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing were sleeping in each other's arms. That's right, the two of them did not wake up. Don't misunderstand, they didn't do anything bad. It was just that they drank too much last night. Yesterday, they had reunited and stayed in the Sacred Light Hotel, an extremely high-end place. In addition, they had a buy today, so everyone was happy and drank too much. Even though Lu Yuan's physique was good, he couldn't endure being forced to drink one by one. Even though he didn't get drunk in the end, he was still a little dizzy. After this sleep, he slept until now. However, after sleeping for such a long time, Lu Yuan finally woke up. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing who was sleeping soundly in his arms, Lu Yuan couldn't help but shake his head helplessly. He gently stroked her long black hair. He didn't know if this girl saw that Chihiro Snow and Hulena had sex with him, but she waited for him for as long as 2 years. He didn't touch her, so she was a little impatient. In addition, they hadn't seen each other for 3 months. Under the longing in her heart, she actually became impulsive. Last night, when she saw that he was drunk, this girl actually took the initiative to seduce him. With this girl's seduction, coupled with the alcohol, at that time, his blood was really boiling. He almost couldn't hold it in. If it wasn't for the clear chi scripture that barely kept him awake in that situation, this girl would definitely have been eaten last night. Of course, sooner or later, she would be eaten, but the key point was that she was still young now. She was only 14 years old. If she was 16, she definitely wouldn't have been able to escape last night. She would have been eaten clean. God knows how difficult it was for him to hold it in. Sighing again, Lu Yuan gently pinched Zhu Zhuqing's little face. Not to mention other things, this little kitten was really obedient when sleeping. It was very lovable. Perhaps it was because she felt Lu Yuan pinching her face. Zhu Zhuqing, who was in a sleeping state, suddenly woke up. She looked at Lu Yuan, and a burst of bright red appeared on her cold, pretty face. Thinking of what happened last night, her pretty face was a little hot. Shyness was one thing, but what she was more upset about was that under such circumstances, she still didn't succeed. This made her feel a little unreconciled in her heart. This was a decision that she had mustered up her courage and made with great difficulty. Moreover, she also wanted to be closer to Lu Yuan. She didn't want to fall behind Chihiro Snow and Hulena by too much. Awake. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan smiled slightly. Yes. Looking at Lu Yuan, Zhu Zhuqing nodded lightly. Since you're awake, then get up. Later, we'll go watch today's competition. I have nothing to do today, so I'll accompany you to watch the competition and then walk around. Pinching Zhu Zhuqing's jade nose, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Okay, got it. Zhu Zhuqing nodded obediently. Both parties had a tacit understanding not to mention what happened last night. After dressing up and washing up, Lu Yuan had breakfast in the hotel. Then, he pulled Zhu Zhuqing towards the competition venue. Indeed, as Lu Yuan expected, there wasn't much to watch today's competition. The more eye-catching one was the competition between the Botany Academy and the Sionra Empire's Violet Orchid Academy. It was a little more intense. However, Lu Yuan wasn't too interested in watching it. He held Zhu Zhuqing's hand and prepared to take her to Martial Soul City. After all, they hadn't seen each other for 3 months, and he wanted to spend some time with her. Just as Lu Yuan was about to leave, a group of people came from the street not far away. It was this group of people that made Lu Yuan's gaze freeze. He recognized these people. However, he didn't expect to meet them here. They were none other than Flender and the rest from Shrek Academy. Naturally, Oscar and Ma Hongjun were with them. Chapter 629. Speaking of which, do we need to spend money to watch this competition? The leader of the group, a middle-aged man with a hooked nose and a pair of square glasses, said as he looked at the arena not far away. Of course it costs money. Have you ever seen a competition that doesn't cost money? Beside the middle-aged man with a hooked nose, a stout but slightly short middle-aged man said, Ari, we don't have money. Why don't we not watch this competition? The middle-aged man with a hooked nose glanced at the people around him and said, If we don't watch it now, we won't have the chance anymore. This is already the finals. We have already missed the qualifiers and the promotion round, so we can't miss the finals. It doesn't matter if we don't watch it, but although Ma Hongjun and Oscar don't have the chance to participate in the competition, we still have to see the necessary scenes. This finals are all elite students from various academies. It's also a good opportunity for them to broaden their horizons. After all, the two of them are already the last students of our Shrek Academy, even though our Shrek Academy has already closed down. An old man dressed in grey who looked at least 60 years old said with a trace of melancholy in his tone, Ari, I say, Lee Yusong, can you stop saying the word closed down? You've said it dozens of times along the way. My ears are getting calluses from hearing it. The stout but somewhat short middle-aged man said impatiently, Hey, Zhao Wuji, the academy has already closed down. I'm in a bad mood, so why don't you let me say a few words? Hearing this, Lee Yusong immediately retorted, Okay, stop arguing. What's there to argue about? The most important thing now is to hurry up and buy the tickets. Flender, it's up to you. Beside Lee Yusong, an old man with grey hair said. This person was another teacher of Shrek Academy, Lu Chibin, who had the martial Soulstar chess. Ari, I really don't have money. The middle-aged man with a hooked nose, Flender, sighed, spread his hands, and said with an innocent face. Come on, who are you lying to? You don't have money. When you came, you bet on the Hill Great Soul Arena. The odds were 1 to 10 and you earned 3,000 gold soul coins. Now you're telling me that you don't have money? Flender just finished speaking. He was ruthlessly exposed by Zhao Wuji. Wow, teacher, you actually have 3,000 gold soul coins on you? As soon as Zhao Wuji's voice fell, a little fatty at the side couldn't help but cry out in surprise. He looked at Flender with sparkling eyes. This little fatty was naturally Ma Hongjun. Don't listen to your teacher Zhao's nonsense. I don't have 3,000 gold soul coins. I don't have a single coin on me. Flender shook his head and spoke with a resolute expression. That's enough, teacher. Don't lie. Teacher Zhao never lies. If you have such a huge sum of money, why keep it? Might as well take it out and spend it. After all, the academy is gone now. Ma Hongjun waved his hand as if he didn't care at all. That's right. The academy is gone. What's the point of keeping the money? After hearing Ma Hongjun's words, Flender couldn't help but sigh. Part of his stinginess was his nature, and the other part was because he had to maintain Shrek Academy, so he had no choice but to be stingy. But now that the academy was gone, what was the point of keeping so much money? Sigh, it's better to buy a few tickets and bring you and Oscar to watch a few matches. Furthermore, we still have to find a place to stay. 3,000 gold soul coins may sound like a lot, but it might not be able to last for long, especially in a place like Martial Spirit City where every inch of land is worth its weight in gold. The level of consumption is high. Flender sighed softly. Dean Flender's words are right. If we have 3,000 gold soul coins, we can eat a high-end banquet in Martial Spirit City and spend it all. Indeed, it won't take long. Just as Flender finished speaking, a clear and bright voice was heard. After hearing this voice, Flender and the others couldn't help but cast their gazes over. 20 meters away, they saw a handsome young man dressed in white holding the hand of a young lady dressed in black leather. She had a cold expression on her face but an extremely hot figure. They were walking in their direction. Lu Yuan. Zhu Zhuqing. Boss Yuan. Seeing the appearance of this man and woman, Flender and the others couldn't help but exclaim at the same time. They didn't expect that they would actually meet Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing in Martial Spirit City. Teacher Zhao Wuji, Dean Flender, Teacher Li Yusong, Teacher Lu Chibin, Teacher Xiao Xin, Fatty, Xiao Ao, long time no see. Walking in front of Flender and the others, Lu Yuan greeted them one by one. Zhu Zhuqing was also the same, greeting everyone. Lu Yuan, you brat, you're actually here too? Seeing Lu Yuan, Flender and the others were obviously happy. To be able to see an acquaintance in a strange place like Martial Spirit City was naturally a very happy thing. Yes, the team I'm in is also participating in the finals this time, so I'm naturally here. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Oh. Then which team are you in? Flender and the others were ill-informed and didn't make it in time for the qualifiers and promotion matches, so they didn't know about Lu Yuan's situation. Heavenly Star Academy Team. I'm the captain of the Heavenly Star Academy Team. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Heavenly Star Academy Team, why do I seem to have heard this name before? Zhao Wuji scratched his head and said. I know this Heavenly Star Academy Team. Hearing Zhao Wuji's words, Ma Hongjun quickly stretched out his hand, indicating that he knew. Oh, you know? Then tell me. Hearing Ma Hongjun say that he knew, Zhao Wuji immediately said. Ahum, I went to the brothel. Oh no, when I went out to play, I heard a few soul masters mention it. It seems that the first place in the Heaven Do Empire this year is the Heavenly Star Academy team. I don't know if it's the team that Boss Yuan is in. Ma Hongjun said. Hearing this, Flender, Zhao Wuji, and the others all looked at Lu Yuan. Seeing this, Lu Yuan smiled and nodded, saying, it's the team that I'm in. Hearing this, Flender, Zhao Wuji, and the others' eyes flashed with a trace of surprise at the same time, while Oscar and Ma Hongjuan's faces surged with a trace of envy. In fact, they also wanted to participate in this competition, but it was a pity that Shrek Academy didn't have the qualifications. Moreover, they only had 2 people. Dean Flender, are you here to watch the finals? If so, then come with us. Our teams don't have to spend money to watch the competition. Lu Yuan said with a light smile. Don't have to spend money. Hearing this, Flender's eyes suddenly lit up. Being able to watch the competition without spending money was really a great thing. Is it convenient to follow you? Flender asked, his eyes rolling around. Chapter 630. Is it convenient to follow you? Flender asked, his eyes still darting around. Looking at Flender's appearance, Lu Yuan found it funny. This Flender was obviously tempted, but he still deliberately asked these questions. However, since Flender said it, he naturally continued with his words. It's convenient, there's nothing inconvenient about it. Moreover, I'm very happy to be able to meet a few teachers in the Martial Spirit City. This can be considered as meeting an old friend in a foreign land. Lu Yuan chuckled. Yes, isn't it meeting an old friend in a foreign land? We are fated. Flender sighed. Hearing Flender's words, Zhao Wuji, who was at the side, covered his eyes, feeling a little embarrassed. He was also a little helpless to meet such a boss. His face was really thick. For a small gain, he was really going all out, insisting that it was fate. However, Zhao Wuji didn't have any objections because the other party was Lu Yuan. His relationship with Lu Yuan was still very good. He didn't feel embarrassed to disturb Lu Yuan. In his heart, Lu Yuan was someone worthy of his trust. Zhao Wuji was such a person. He definitely couldn't be considered a good person. After all, a good person couldn't be called the immovable wisdom king. Back then, Zhao Wuji had killed many people. However, Zhao Wuji was a person who valued friendship and loyalty. Back then, Lu Yuan had fought with him for more than a year and gave him a precious dark golden terraclaw bear's right arm bone. In fact, he had long recognized Lu Yuan. Once a person like Zhao Wuji recognizes a person, then he would be willing to sacrifice himself for that person. Just like how Zhao Wuji treated Flender, he treated Flender as his own brother. It is indeed fate. Hearing Flender's words, Lu Yuan chuckled. Sure enough, a person's nature wasn't so easy to change. Flender's character was still the same as before. Dean Flender, you probably haven't found a place to stay yet. Our academy has booked the entire 6th floor of the Holy Light Hotel. There are still many empty rooms. If you don't mind, you can stay with us, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Sacred Light Hotel, is it the most luxurious hotel in the entire continent that those people advertised? Hearing these words, Flender's eyes involuntarily brightened. Indeed, the Holy Light Hotel should be one of the most luxurious hotels in the entire continent. I wonder if Dean Flanders would be interested in staying with us? Lu Yuan asked. Yes, yes, yes. We are interested. Hearing that the Sacred Light Hotel was one of the most luxurious hotels in the entire continent, Ma Hongjuan's squinted eyes suddenly lit up. He unconsciously swallowed his saliva. The food in such a hotel should be very delicious. Therefore, before Flender answered, he couldn't wait to reply. Hee hee. Lu Yuan chuckled and said, then let's go to the Holy Light Hotel and settle your rooms first. There's no need to watch today's competition. It's all noobs fighting each other. There's nothing exciting about it. From tomorrow onwards, some of the stronger teams will go on stage. You don't have a competition today? Oscar asked curiously. We have a bye today. We will only go on stage tomorrow. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Oh. Hearing this, Oscar nodded. Then let's go now. It's getting late. We can go back and have lunch while we're at it, Lu Yuan said. Lunch. Hearing about lunch, Ma Hongjun couldn't help but swallow his saliva. This little fatty only had 2 hobbies. One was to visit prostitutes, and the other was to eat. His money was basically spent on these 2 aspects. Ari, since you invited us so sincerely, Lu Yuan, then we will disturb you. Flender sighed and said. We won't disturb you. Let's go. Hearing Flender's words, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. He held Zhu Zhuqing's hand and led the way in front. Flender and the others followed behind Lu Yuan and Oscar. Everyone moved forward very quickly. Not long after, they returned to the Holy Light Hotel. The Holy Light Hotel was one of the most luxurious hotels in the entire continent. The decorations were naturally very high-end and classy. Seeing this scene for the first time, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, and the others couldn't help but be dazzled. After all, the 2 of them were commoners. The most luxurious hotels they had seen were the ones in Soto City. However, those hotels paled in comparison to the Holy Light Hotel and the Starblue Hotel, which were top-notch hotels. Wow, it's really big and luxurious. Boss Yuan, it's not cheap to book an entire floor of this place, right? Ma Hongjun exclaimed before asking curiously. It's all right. It's actually not expensive to book an entire day. It's about 200,000 gold soul coins. Lu Yuan said with a smile. 200,000 gold soul coins a day? Hearing this, Ma Hongjun couldn't help but click his tongue. If 200,000 gold soul coins a day isn't expensive, how rich is Boss Yuan? Oh, I forgot to say. 200,000 gold soul coins is actually just the accommodation fee. If you want to eat, you have to pay separately. Lu Yuan said softly. Catcher. This was the sound of a heart cracking. Seeing Lu Yuan casually say that 200,000 gold soul coins a day isn't expensive, Flender only felt that he had suffered a heavy blow. He touched the 3,000 gold soul coins in his pocket. Is this enough for me to stay here for a day? I think it's only enough for me to stay here for a day. It wasn't just Flender. Even Zhao Wuji and the others had a look of disbelief on their faces. 200,000 gold soul coins a day isn't expensive? They've never seen 200,000 gold soul coins in their entire lives, okay? Seeing everyone's shocked expressions, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile faintly. Actually, this price could be said to be ridiculously high. If it weren't for the fact that he really had money right now, he wouldn't be so wasteful. The finals would take at least 10 days. Calculating this, it would be 2 to 3 million gold soul coins. To an ordinary person, this was an astronomical figure. However, to Lu Yuan, it was only the price of a longevity pill. It couldn't be helped. Alchemists were just this rich. There were also soul tools. These things could easily cost more than 1,000,000 gold soul coins. Therefore, Lu Yuan wasn't lacking in money right now. I've booked the 6th floor. Let's go up now. There are still many empty rooms up there. Everyone can choose which one to stay in. Oh, right. When you enter later, it's best that you take out your soul master's personal letter or release your martial soul. Only soul masters can enter the Sacred Light Hotel. Lu Yuan said to everyone with a smile. There's such a rule. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, everyone from Shrek was stunned. They cursed in their hearts. Fuck, it's just a hotel. Why are there so many rules? Chapter 631. However, everyone still did as they were told. Furthermore, only soul masters were allowed to enter this hotel, so it was naturally worthy of this rule. It was definitely one of the most luxurious hotels on the continent. Furthermore, being able to spend money in such a hotel was a very prestigious thing for some people. This was a privilege that only soul masters had. If you weren't a soul master, you wouldn't be able to enter even if you were a noble. Since the Holy Light Hotel was located in Martial Soul City and was named Holy Light, the owner behind it was actually the Martial Soul Palace. The owner of the Holy Light Hotel was a rank 88 soul Douluo under Bibidon. It was also because of this that Lu Yuan was able to book the entire 6th floor of the Holy Light Hotel so easily. One had to know that it was very difficult to do so without any connections, even if one had the money. Lu Yuan was the Holy Son, and he had also contacted Bibidon, so it wasn't difficult for him to book the entire hotel. Of course, they still had to pay. If it was just Lu Yuan alone, he wouldn't have to pay, given his status as the Holy Son. However, there was a group of people in the Star Battle team, and they weren't members of the Martial Soul Palace yet. Hence, they had to pay. This was the rule of the Martial Soul Palace. It was as clear as day. The Martial Soul Palace advocated the privileges of soul masters the most. It was different from the other two empires, who valued the nobles. The Martial Soul Palace valued soul masters the most. To the Martial Soul Palace, soul masters were everything, and they would pay great attention to protecting the interests of soul masters. This was because the Martial Soul Palace was the largest soul master organization on the continent, and it would naturally pay attention to protecting the interests of soul masters. On the other hand, the higher the status of soul masters, the more commoners would want to become soul masters. The talented soul masters among these commoners would be the fresh blood for the Martial Soul Palace to develop and prosper. Hence, the Holy Light Hotel's appearance was actually a way to elevate the status of soul masters. Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing took out their soul master's handwritten letter and entered without a hitch. The records of the two only stated that they were soul ancestors. There was no record of the Soul Kings after that since there wasn't much of a need to do so. However, Flender and the others were different. This group of people naturally loved to be in the limelight. Furthermore, there were many rules in the Holy Light Hotel. They were actually stifled in their hearts. They actually directly activated their martial souls, and bright soul rings appeared one after another. There were 3 soul sages, 2 soul emperors, and 2 soul elders, Ma Hongjun and Oscar. Without the immortal grass, Ma Hongjun and Oscar were only soul elders after 2 years. Oscar was at level 36 and Ma Hongjun was at level 35. The two of them were around the same level as Jiang Zhu and were 2 or 3 levels lower than Jing Lingdo, who was already at level 38. It seemed that if the immortal herb hadn't been present in the original novel, Tang San and Dai Mubai would have only been able to reach the soul ancestor rank. With such a lineup, it was simply impossible for them to defeat the Martial Soul Palace team. After releasing their martial souls, Flender and the others entered the Holy Light Hotel valiantly. Soul sages were still relatively rare, so Flender and the other 2 soul sages attracted a lot of attention. However, these people weren't too surprised. This was Martial Soul City, the holy land of all soul masters. Soul Douluo appeared frequently here, let alone soul sages. Flender and the others attracted a lot of attention, but that was all there was to it. Lu Yuan led Flender and the others directly to the 6th floor. When they reached the 6th floor, the doors of the various rooms were still tightly shut. The entire 6th floor was quiet, and there wasn't a single sound. It's almost noon. Are these guys still not awake? Seeing this scene, Lu Yuan couldn't help but frown. These guys are too good at sleeping. However, just as he finished speaking, a door was opened. A girl in a long white dress walked out. It was none other than Ning Rongrong. She seemed to have freshened up. Her sapphire-like eyes scanned the room slightly. When she saw Lu Yuan, a glint flashed across her eyes. She excitedly rushed in Lu Yuan's direction. "Good morning, Abuchi," Ning Rongrong said sweetly as she walked in front of Lu Yuan. "Early? It's almost noon. We're going to have lunch soon. Why don't you sleep a little longer? Wouldn't it be better to have dinner then?" Lu Yuan said with a half-smile as he reached out and pinched Ning Rongrong's cheek. "Aya, I drank too much last night." Ning Rongrong pouted and said with an aggrieved expression. All right. Don't be aggrieved. Look at who's behind me," Lu Yuan said with a smile as he rubbed Ning Rongrong's head. "Oh." After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong looked behind Lu Yuan curiously. "Dean Flender, Teacher Zhao Wuji, it's you guys." Ning Rongrong couldn't help but smile when she saw the people behind Lu Yuan. Although she hadn't stayed in Shrek Academy for long, she had interacted with them for some time. To be able to see them again in Martial Spirit City was indeed something to be happy about. "It's Rongrong. You're also with Lu Yuan and the rest. It seems like you got what you wanted." Flender sighed when he saw Ning Rongrong and said. He still remembered that Ning Rongrong joined Shrek Academy because of Lu Yuan. After Lu Yuan left, this girl left Shrek Academy. Now that they were in the same team, it seemed like Ning Rongrong had won Lu Yuan's heart. After hearing Flender's words, Ning Rongrong also sighed and said, "Not yet. This guy is too hard to chase. He still hasn't accepted me." As she spoke, she looked at Lu Yuan with hidden bitterness. "Still hasn't accepted you?" As soon as Ning Rongrong finished speaking, Zhao Wuji's voice rang out. "Xiao Yuan, Rongrong likes you so much. She's so infatuated with you. You can't let her down. You're a big man. Why are you hesitating? Why don't you just accept her? The Douluo continent already has 3 wives and 4 concubines. It's not a big deal to have one more girlfriend. We old bachelors are single because we can't find anyone. You have a girl pursuing you, but you're still disdainful. Don't you know how lucky you are?" Zhao Wuji's words were very sincere, and Lu Yuan could only smile bitterly and be at a loss for words. "Yes, Teacher Zhao is right. You don't know how lucky you are." Ning Rongrong looked at Lu Yuan and curled her lips. "En." After hearing Ning Rongrong's words, Lu Yuan couldn't help but look over with a trace of oppression in his eyes. "Me." Ning Rongrong snorted and met Lu Yuan's gaze. She didn't avoid his gaze and looked straight at Lu Yuan. Chapter 632. The two of them looked at each other, and in the end, Lu Yuan was defeated. Ning Rongrong's eyes were sparkling and full of passion. Coupled with her somewhat aggrieved expression, Lu Yuan was really unable to resist. This girl was deeply in love with him, and when he looked at her, he really did not have any confidence in his heart. Although he had never provoked Ning Rongrong, it was impossible to say that he was not moved by a girl's infatuation with him. He was not hard-hearted, on the contrary, his heart was very soft. He had a soft and cruel character. He was very good to his own people, and was willing to give them anything good. And for his enemies, he would never show the slightest mercy, and would definitely beat them to death. Ning Rongrong was not an enemy, and now the 7 Treasures Glazed Sect and the Dragon King Palace were in a cooperative relationship. Coupled with Ning Rongrong being a member of the Heavenly Star Academy team, she could be considered as one of them. Coupled with her infatuation with him, Lu Yuan really could not bear to really hurt her. 2 years ago, when he had only met Ning Rongrong a few times, Lu Yuan had been able to reject her without any qualms in Shrek Academy. However, as he looked at Ning Rongrong's sparkling eyes now, he really couldn't bring himself to reject her. Alas, Lu Yuan could not help but sigh softly and touch his face. All of this could be blamed on him being too handsome and too charming. Even if he did not flirt with girls, there would always be girls flirting with him. Alas, helpless. This was the price to pay for bearing the handsomeness that should not be present at this age. Seeing that Lu Yuan was defeated by their eyes, Ning Rongrong could not help but snort, and directly reached out to hold Lu Yuan's right arm. As for her left hand, she was still holding Zhu Zhuqing. Seeing Lu Yuan surrounded by the two girls, Oscar and Ma Hongjun looked at each other with deep envy in their eyes. Both of them were still single. Lu Yuan's public display of affection was really fragrant. The two of them felt full even before lunch. Being held by Ning Rongrong, Lu Yuan couldn't help but twitch his arm. However, his right arm was tightly held by Ning Rongrong, and when he moved, he felt a strange softness on his arm. This made Lu Yuan's body involuntarily tremble, and he immediately stopped moving. Forget it, that's it. He didn't dare to move again. Ning Rongrong also felt this strange feeling. She blushed slightly, but still didn't let go of his hand. Cough, cough. Dean Flender, Teacher Zhao, let's go eat first. It's getting late. I think you guys should be hungry. Lu Yuan coughed twice and said. Seeing this, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but pout. This guy was running away again. When would she be able to catch up with him? Should she just drug him and force him to lock him up? Ning Rongrong looked at Lu Yuan's handsome face and thought fiercely in her heart. With his personality, if something were to happen, he would definitely take responsibility. He would definitely take responsibility. Ning Rongrong bit her red lips with her pearly white teeth. To be honest, she was really getting impatient from waiting. She was originally a little witch. Although she had restrained herself a little now, her nature would not change. She was still a little bold, and her patience was not very good. To be able to patiently chase for more than 2 years. Even if it started from the age of 10, it was almost 4 years. She liked Lu Yuan for 4 years. This process was actually quite long. Chasing a person for 4 years was simply unimaginable for Ning Rongrong. If she didn't really love Lu Yuan, she wouldn't have been able to hold on for so long. But after chasing for so long, Ning Rongrong was really tired. It would be a lie to say that there was no progress. In the past, Lu Yuan basically ignored her, or kept a close distance. But now, at least he was willing to rub her head, which was a relatively big improvement. But Ning Rongrong was not satisfied with the current situation. She wanted to go one step further and completely confirm her relationship with Lu Yuan. When this thought came up, it was really like a prairie fire. It instantly burned her entire heart and could no longer be extinguished. She looked at herself and then at Zhu Zhuqing. This idea was very good, but if she really wanted to do it, then she had to deal with Zhu Zhuqing first. Otherwise, Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing would sleep together, and she still wouldn't have a chance. Ning Rongrong's eyes turned. She was thinking about how to get Zhu Zhuqing away. After all, although she and Zhu Zhuqing had talked openly, Zhu Zhuqing might not agree to her using this method to be with Lu Yuan. Should she also drug Zhu Zhuqing and make her unconscious? As for whether Zhu Zhuqing would blame her the next day, she didn't care. Even if Zhu Zhuqing pointed at her nose and scolded her, she would accept it. Well, let's do it. It's too late at noon. I'll go and get the medicine in the afternoon. I remember that the family guards should be nearby. If I ask them to help me find it, they should be able to find it. Ning Rongrong thought secretly in her heart. It had to be said that this little witch was really valiant when she thought of this. Lu Yuan naturally didn't know that Ning Rongrong had such thoughts in her heart. At this moment, he was preparing to take Flender and the others to eat. Abuchi, do you want to wake them up? Zhu Zhuqing held Lu Yuan's hand and asked softly. No need. Let them sleep. Let them eat something for lunch. We'll wake everyone up in the evening to celebrate. Lu Yuan said. Let's celebrate again tonight. What if they get drunk again? Zhu Zhuqing asked. It doesn't matter. At most, I'll go on stage alone tomorrow. Lu Yuan smiled slightly. That's fine too. Zhu Zhuqing nodded and said. Ning Rongrong, who was at the side, glanced at Lu Yuan with a trace of slyness in her eyes. You still want to go on stage tomorrow? He, I'm afraid you won't be able to get out of bed tomorrow. Ning Rongrong snickered in her heart. As for whether it would affect the competition or not, Ning Rongrong couldn't care less now. Her love was the most important thing in the world, and everything else could stand aside. And maybe if she was lucky, tomorrow's opponent would take the initiative to admit defeat. Furthermore, there were so many people from Shrek today. It was the best time to drug them. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and she definitely couldn't miss it. Ning Rongrong thought in her heart. Let's go to the dining hall together. After dinner, we'll arrange rooms for Dean Flender and the others, Lu Yuan said as he pulled Zhu Zhuqing towards the dining hall. Ning Rongrong, who was holding Lu Yuan's arm, naturally wouldn't fall behind. Flender and the others behind them also followed. Chapter 633. Lu Yuan and the others took their seats in the magnificent, luxurious, and elegant restaurant. Wow, this restaurant is so big. Ma Hongjun looked at the luxurious restaurant in surprise. This was the restaurant on the 6th floor of the hotel that was specially used for eating. It was indeed very big, and the decorations were very comfortable and stylish. Lu Yuan and the others sat together, but they only took up a small corner of the restaurant. Honorable guests, what would you like to order? Lu Yuan and the others had just sat down when a waiter came up and asked them. Take a look and order whatever you want to eat. Don't worry about money. Lu Yuan took the menu from the waiter and handed it to Ma Hongjun. Fatty, you're the best at eating. You order. Okay, Boss Yuan. I won't stand on ceremony then. Seeing that Lu Yuan directly handed such an important task to him, Ma Hongjun accepted it without hesitation. Ma Hongjun had a serious look on his face. He felt that ordering food was a very sacred thing, so he had to order more. He couldn't let Boss Yuan's kindness down. The menu was very exquisite, and the patterns on it were also very beautiful. Especially the menu cover, which was made of pure gold. It wasn't tacky at all. Instead, under the designer's design, the golden cover looked very classy. Ma Hongjun was shocked when he received the menu. He thought that the gold on the surface of the menu was just added, but he didn't expect it to be made of pure gold. God had mercy on him. It was the first time he saw a menu made of pure gold in his life. Ma Hongjun opened the cover of the menu, and the contents of the menu were revealed. The paper inside the menu wasn't simple. It was made of the bamboo silk of the 10-year spirit beast, jade bamboo. It was very smooth and tough, and it felt very good to the touch. On each page, there were illustrations of various dishes and their prices. These dishes were basically in their original form, not the so-called pictures for reference. Speaking of which, what Lu Yuan hated the most in his previous life was that the patterns were only for reference. As for why, don't ask. If you did, you'd be cheated. Ma Hongjun saw a grilled wing at a glance. The grilled wing was golden and translucent, and it was dripping with golden grease. Ma Hongjun, a veteran foodie, was naturally tempted. Flying Spirit grilled wings, made from the 1000-year Flying Spirit condor. There are 12 pairs in a set, and the price is 49,999 gold soul coins. When he saw this scene, Ma Hongjun was immediately stunned. His mouth was wide open. A dish worth almost 50,000 gold soul coins? No matter how delicious this dish was, he didn't dare to order it. Normal families only needed 2 or 3 gold soul coins to survive for a year. He only needed 1 or 2 silver soul coins to go to a brothel once. Fuck, this dish was enough to last him the rest of his life. Boss Yuan, are all the dishes here so expensive? Ma Hongjun pointed at the Flying Spirit grilled wings and asked. Is it expensive? It's okay. These are the wings of the 1000-year Flying Spirit condor. Although the Flying Spirit condor isn't big, and it has 3 pairs of wings, it's still a 1000-year soul beast. This dish has 12 pairs of wings, and at least 4 Flying Spirit condors are used. 49,999 gold soul coins really isn't expensive. It's a good price. Lu Yuan nodded and said. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ma Hongjun only felt his heart twitch. Why did he feel that Boss Yuan's words were inhumane? He didn't even blink at 50,000 gold soul coins, and he even said it was a good price. Looking at the flying spirit grilled wings, he really wanted to eat it, but he really couldn't bear to eat it at such an expensive price. Ma Hongjun thought to himself, I'll take a look and see if there are any cheaper dishes. Steamed whitewater threadfish, made from the 1,000-year whitewater threadfish. The price is 52,000 gold soul coins. Red braised teppanyard, made from the 1,000-year teppanyard lizard. The price is 35,000 gold soul coins. I don't believe that there aren't any cheaper dishes. Ma Hongjun flipped down and finally found a dish. It was a very familiar dish. Stir-fried treasured cabbage, made from the 100-year treasured cabbage. The price is 3,999 gold soul coins. Ah, even a cabbage costs 3,999 gold soul coins? Ma Hongjun couldn't help but exclaim when he saw the prices of the dishes at the back. What? Cabbages are so expensive? After hearing this, Flender and the others were shocked and couldn't help but ask. Hongjun, let teacher take a look. Flender said to Ma Hongjun. Ma Hongjun passed the menu over, and Flender took it. When he saw the prices of the dishes, Flender's eyes instantly widened. Fuck, even the cheapest cabbage costs 3,999 gold soul coins. Does this mean that I can't even afford a single plate of cabbage here? This isn't eating, this is eating money. Flender threw the menu on the table and looked as if he had suffered a blow. His 3,000 gold soul coins couldn't even afford a single cabbage. His mentality was about to collapse. Fart. When she saw Flender's appearance, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but burst into laughter. Flender's appearance was simply too amusing. Haha, since Dean and the others aren't ordering, Rongrong, you can order whatever you want. Lu Yuan chuckled and took another menu and passed it to Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong was a rich lady, so she naturally didn't care about the so-called price. After ordering everything, she spent at least 500,000 gold soul coins. When all the dishes were served, the huge table was filled to the brim. Everyone, let's dig in. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Then let's eat. Flender gripped his chopsticks tightly and looked at the dishes as if he wasn't looking at the dishes, but at money. When he thought about how he had spent 500,000 gold soul coins on these dishes, his heart bled, even though it wasn't his money that had been spent. Everyone from Shrek started to sweep through the dishes in a frenzy. After an hour, everyone was full. Flender burped and picked his teeth with a toothpick. Although the price was expensive, the taste was really good. It was so delicious that it made one want to swallow their tongue. Awesome. Ma Hongjun groaned. This meal made him feel very comfortable. Oscar also had a satisfied look on his face. This meal was so satisfying that he still wanted to continue. Dean Flender, all of you have come to Martial Spirit City. How is Shrek now? Is it still open? After the dishes were finished, the waiter removed all the leftovers and served tea. Lu Yuan took a sip of tea and asked softly. After hearing this, Flender's face immediately darkened. He sighed and said, Shrek has already closed down. Now we are homeless. When he said this, Zhao Wuji and the others' faces were filled with sadness. Chapter 634. Shrek Academy closed down. Hearing this, Lu Yuan's expression froze for a moment, but he wasn't surprised. With Shrek's financial situation, it was only a matter of time before they closed down. Furthermore, there were only 2 students in Shrek right now. It was understandable for Flender and the others to give up. This was also within Lu Yuan's expectations. After all, in the original story, Shrek Academy had almost closed down due to lack of financial resources. Later, Qin Ming recommended them to Heaven Do Imperial Academy, but unfortunately, they were driven out by Avalanche. In the end, they came to the original Blue Tyrant Academy and met Liu Erlong. Liu Erlong was also very generous, and directly threw the original Blue Tyrant Academy to Flender, and later changed its name to Shrek Academy. But in this life, because of Lu Yuan, Shrek's 7 monsters were separated. Grandmaster and Tang San left Shrek Academy, and Yu Tianheng lost his confidence after being beaten by Lu Yuan. Shrek didn't meet the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, and naturally, Qinming didn't pull the strings to enter Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Naturally, they didn't meet Dugu Bo, and were driven out of Heaven Do Imperial Academy to enter the Blue Tyrant Academy. But more importantly, the original Blue Tyrant Academy had already been purchased by Lu Yuan, and now there was only the Heavenly Star Academy left, and there was no Blue Tyrant Academy anymore, so Flender and the others had no place to stay. But thinking of this, Lu Yuan had a plan. Why don't he invite Flender and the others to join Heaven Star Academy? After all, their current situation was somewhat related to Lu Yuan, so it was reasonable to help them now. After all, they had no enmity with Lu Yuan. On the contrary, they had some friendship, so Lu Yuan didn't mind pulling them into his academy. Although Heaven Star Academy's development was not bad, and there was no shortage of people. Turning his gaze, Lu Yuan saw that Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing beside him had a look of surprise on their faces. It was obvious that they were shocked by Flender's words. Dean Flender, Teacher Zhao, since you have nowhere to go, why don't you rest at Heaven Star Academy? Our Heaven Star Academy is mainly divided into two departments, the inner and outer courtyard. The inner courtyard only recruits geniuses and monsters, which is in line with Shrek Academy's teaching philosophy. Teachers, why don't you go to the inner courtyard to teach the students? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. Hearing this, Flender, Zhao Wuji, and the others looked at each other. To be honest, in their current situation where they had nowhere to stay, Lu Yuan's words was really very attractive to them. In particular, the teaching philosophy of the inner court was similar to that of Shrek Academy, and this suited their tastes even more. Flender was already tempted. I wonder how many people there are in the inner courtyard. Flender didn't want to teach was didn't he was of a teacher's is right. SSTS of S. Of course of the of a SSS of them of course is time. S of the of course T of the tus of A's of time to them to the time to of soul 22? That's a lot of people. Flender and Zhao Wuji looked at each other with a hint of surprise in their eyes. How's their talent? Flender asked again. Some are strong and some are weak. The strong one's talent is above Fatty's and Xiao Ao's, but the weak ones can also meet the standards of 12 years old and above. Lu Yuan said with a smile. He wasn't lying. Among the students of the inner courtyard, Wang Qiuer's talent was definitely above Oscar's and Ma Hongjuan's. As for Dugu Yang and Ning Rongrong, who had evolved their martial souls, they could also be ranked above Ma Hongjun and on par with Oscar. As for Jingling and the others, although their talent was a little worse, they were once the best in the Lan BA Academy. When they were 12 years old, they had indeed reached the 20th rank. So what Lu Yuan said made sense. Oh! Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Flender was a little surprised. There were actually people whose talent was above Oscar's and Ma Hongjuan's. Moreover, the weakest could meet the standards of 12 years olds, which made Flender really interested. So, Dean Flender, are you interested in joining our Heavenly Star Academy's inner courtyard? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. Then I'm a little interested, but I still have a question. Are you sure we can smoothly join? Flender asked. Poochie. Hearing Flender's words, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but laugh again, her charming face full of smiles. Rongrong, what are you laughing at? Flender was a little strange. Did he say something wrong? Dean Flender, do you know who owns the Heavenly Star Academy? Ning Rongrong asked with a smile. Who owns it? Flender asked. The Heavenly Star Academy was originally opened by Lu Yuan. Since he has spoken, do you think you can smoothly join? Ning Rongrong said with a smile. The Heavenly Star Academy was opened by you. Flender looked at Lu Yuan with a trace of surprise on his face. It was indeed opened by me. Those days I was idle and bored, so I opened an academy to play. Lu Yuan nodded and said. Opened an academy to play? Hearing this, Flender, Zhao Wuji and the others couldn't help but look at each other in dismay. You casually opened an academy to play, and then you got first place in the Heaven Do district. Damn, the gap between them was really big. They risked their lives to maintain Shrek Academy, but in the end it went bankrupt. On the other hand, Lu Yuan casually opened an academy to play, and it became so popular. Flender's heart really took a hit. Even Zhao Wuji and the others at the side had a look of dismay on their faces. They were also hurt. So, Dean Flender, what do you think? If you join, I can let you take the position of Vice Dean of the Inner Courtyard. The Dean is my father, Lu Yuan said. Since you are so sincere in your invitation, if we don't agree, then we don't know what's good for us. It's decided then. From now on, us old brothers will follow you, but the salary and benefits. Flender said as he rubbed his fingers slightly. Seeing this scene, Lu Yuan couldn't help but laugh involuntarily and said, "Don't worry, you won't lose out. The salary of teachers in the Inner Courtyard is relatively high. Every month, the Vice Dean's salary is 10,000 gold soul coins. A Soul Sage salary is 8,000 gold soul coins, and a Soul Empress salary is 5,000 gold soul coins. Teachers, what do you think of this salary and benefits?" "Very good, we'll do it." After Lu Yuan finished speaking, Zhao Wuji and the others didn't wait for Flender to speak. They had never seen such a high salary before. In the past, when they were in Shrek Academy, they often didn't even have a monthly salary. Now that there was such a huge sum of money, they were all moved. Chapter 635. Then I'll do it too. Originally, Flender wanted to haggle a bit more. However, Zhao Wuji and the others agreed very quickly, and 10,000 gold soul coins was an extremely generous salary. Flender was satisfied with it. Lu Yuan had already shown such sincerity. If he still wanted to take advantage of it, it would be unreasonable, so he immediately agreed. "Very good, on behalf of the Heavenly Star Academy, I welcome you all to join us," Lu Yuan said, and a smile appeared on his face. "Oh, right, I have a surprise for you. The other Vice Dean of the Inner Courtyard is Dean Liu Erlong. I think you should be familiar with her, Dean Flender?" Lu Yuan asked with a smile. "Sister Erlong is also in the Heavenly Star Academy." Hearing this news, Flender's eyes couldn't help but light up. For the past 20 years, he really missed Liu Erlong all the time. The reason why he insisted on establishing Shrek Academy was because of Liu Erlong's words. It could be said that Flender's love for Liu Erlong was very deep. In order to let Liu Erlong and Yu Xiaogang be together, he was willing to withdraw from the competition, and chose to wait silently by the side. After waiting for more than 20 years, he still didn't change his mind, and was still infatuated with her. This was not something that ordinary people could do. If Lu Yuan wanted to wait for someone who didn't love him for 20 years, he would definitely not be able to do it. It was also because of this that he really admired Flender's infatuation with Liu Erlong. Now that Flender had joined the Heavenly Star Academy, the two of them would definitely meet frequently in the future, so there was a chance to matchmake them. Moreover, Yu Xiaogang was already gone, so it was indeed a good choice for Liu Erlong to follow Flender. "Then where is Sister Erlong now? Why don't I see her?" Flender asked. Dean Erlong went to draw lots to pick her opponent for tomorrow's competition, and this lot drawing will only start after today's competition ends, so Dean Erlong should be back later. When Dean Erlong comes back, we'll gather everyone together tonight to celebrate and eat a good meal," Lu Yuan said with a smile. Gulp. When Ma Hongjun and Oscar heard Lu Yuan say that they were going to have another good meal in the afternoon, they couldn't help but swallow their saliva at the same time. Today's lunch was going to be a treat for them. Hearing that there would be more at night, the two of them started to look forward to it. Seeing this, Lu Yuan smiled and said, "Then I'll take you to pick your rooms. Follow me," Lu Yuan said as he stood up and walked towards the room. Flender and the others quickly followed. Rooms 601 to 608 are all occupied. My teammates are sleeping in there, so you can choose your own rooms. There are still a dozen or so rooms left, Lu Yuan said. "Oh, then I'll stay in room 609. Lu Yuan had just finished speaking when Ma Hongjun immediately said, "Then I'll stay in room 601. It's not far from Fatty." Oscar laughed. The rooms here are actually arranged in odd and even numbers. One side is 1357, while the other side is 24060, and the order is exactly the opposite. One side is counting from left to right, and the other side is counting from right to left, and the room number is counting from right to left, and the room number is counting from right to left. There are a total of 28 rooms, and room 609 is right next to Ma Hongjuan's room 609. After Oscar and Ma Hongjun chose their rooms, Zhao Wuji and the others also chose their rooms. "I'll stay in this room," Flender said as he looked at the room number of room 602. "Oh, I'm sorry, Dean Flender. I forgot to mention just now that room 612 has been chosen by Dean Liu Erlong. She'll be staying here." Lu Yuan patted his head and said, "Is that so? Is this Sister Erlong's room?" Hearing this, Flender paused, looked at room 617 opposite, and said, "Then I'll stay in this room." "Stay in this room?" "Sure." Hearing this, Lu Yuan nodded, indicating that there was no problem. After Flender finished choosing his room, the matter of choosing a room was over. Flender and the others entered their rooms to size up their new residence, while Lu Yuan was preparing to return to his nest with Zhu Zhuqing. At this moment, Ning Rongrong tugged at Lu Yuan's sleeve. "What's wrong, Rongrong? What's the matter?" Lu Yuan asked. "Abuchi, I want to go out for a while," Ning Rongrong said. "Go out for a while? Do you want to go out and play? Do you want Zhuqing and I to accompany you?" Lu Yuan asked. "No need, I can go out alone." Ning Rongrong shook her head and said, "You're going out alone? It's very dangerous for an auxiliary-type soul master like you to wander around in an unfamiliar place like Martial Spirit City. Let us accompany you," Lu Yuan said. "No need, there's really no need. My family has soul masters dedicated to protecting me. You don't have to worry about me." Ning Rongrong waved her hand and said, "Is that so?" Hearing this, Lu Yuan frowned slightly. Although he felt that something was wrong, since Ning Rongrong insisted and there was no danger, he would fulfill her request. "Then be careful," Lu Yuan exhorted. "Ian, I know. I'm leaving." Ning Rongrong waved her hand and ran away quickly. "Abuchi, I think it's a little strange. With Rongrong's attachment to you, she actually rejected your suggestion to accompany her. This doesn't fit her character." Seeing Ning Rongrong run away, Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan and couldn't help but whisper, "Maybe Rongrong has something to do that she doesn't want us to know. Don't worry about it so much, as long as she's fine, it's fine. Since she said that she has the protection of her family's soul masters, then we don't have to worry about her safety. As for the rest, it has nothing to do with us. Let her be," Lu Yuan said. "Ian, you're right." Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing nodded gently. Let's go back first." Holding Zhu Zhuqing's hand, Lu Yuan walked towards his room. His room was the first room, 601. On the other side, Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing returned to their rooms. On the other side, Ning Rongrong quickly ran out of the Holy Light Hotel. She patted her slightly heaving chest and saw that no one was following her. She couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. In fact, she really wanted Lu Yuan to accompany her shopping, but when she thought of her big plan tonight, she had to reluctantly reject Lu Yuan's suggestion. And if tonight's plan succeeded, she would have plenty of opportunities to be intimate with Lu Yuan in the future. Ning Rongrong said to herself in her heart. Patting her small chest, Ning Rongrong walked to an empty corner and said indifferently, "All of you, come out." "Greetings, miss." Just as Ning Rongrong finished speaking, two figures suddenly appeared. They were two soul emperors who were responsible for Ning Rongrong's safety. "I want you to find something." Ning Rongrong's red lips opened slightly and her indifferent voice came out. Chapter 636. At 3 p.m., the members of the Heavenly Star battle team, who were sleeping like dead pigs, finally woke up one by one. After washing up, they were still yawning. Lu Yuan couldn't help but shake his head. These guys had worked together to get him drunk last night, but he was fine. On the other hand, these guys were all drunk until they were unconscious. Sigh, their alcohol tolerance was really bad. Especially Fu Qinsheng, Ling Wei, and Jingling. These three guys were too disappointing. They couldn't even compare to Ning Rongrong. They drank a lot too, but they were completely fine. They still woke up before noon. However, these guys didn't wake up until 3 o'clock in the morning. Boss, is there anything to eat? I'm starving. Ling Wei immediately saw Lu Yuan standing at the door. He immediately clutched his stomach and asked, "There's always food in the hotel. However, you guys should eat less now. There will be a celebration at night to welcome new friends. Don't eat too much now. You won't be able to eat at night," Lu Yuan said. There will be a celebration at night to welcome new friends. Ling Wei's eyes lit up when he heard this. He was someone who liked to be lively. "Yes, so you guys should eat less," Lu Yuan said. "Yes, I got it. Come, Qinsheng, let's go." Ling Wei pulled Fu Qinsheng and rushed towards the restaurant. Seeing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but shake his head helplessly. "Is Rongrong not back yet?" Lu Yuan turned around slightly and asked Zhu Zhuqing softly. "Not yet. I haven't seen her." Zhu Zhuqing shook her head and said, "I don't know what she went out to do. She's so mysterious." Lu Yuan's eyes flashed as he said softly, "What about Dean Flanders and the rest? Are they still playing?" Lu Yuan asked. "Yes, they're still playing that doudiju that you invented. They're having so much fun that they can't stop playing," Zhu Zhuqing said. "All right, let's go see them later." "Where's Qiu-er? Is she still asleep?" Lu Yuan asked. "Brother, Qiu-er is up." Lu Yuan had just finished speaking when Wang Qiu-er emerged from room 603, which was next to room 601. She smiled at Lu Yuan as she spoke coquettishly. "You must be hungry. How about Big Brother take you to eat something?" Lu Yuan asked with a chuckle. Wang Qiu-er was an adorable little sister, and Lu Yuan doted on her as much as he could, even though he had a brother complex. Wang Qiu-er ran forward and hugged Lu Yuan's arm as she said, "Qiu-er is starving. Let's go now, elder brother." "Let's go then." Lu Yuan smiled as he rubbed Wang Qiu-er's head. Hua Yuhao brought Wang Qiu-er to the restaurant for a quick meal. It was already 4 o'clock in the blink of an eye. It was also at this moment that Liu Erlong, who had gone out to draw lots, and Ning Rongrong, who was acting strangely, returned together. Both of them had smiles on their faces, and they seemed to be in a good mood. "Sister Erlong, you seem to be in a good mood. Did you draw a good lot?" Lu Yuan smiled as he looked at Liu Erlong. "Yes, I drew a good lot. Our opponent forfeited, so we'll have a bye tomorrow." Liu Erlong smiled as she said. "A bye again?" Lu Yuan was slightly stunned when he heard this. "A bye again?" Ning Rongrong was also delighted. She had only met Liu Erlong when she entered the hotel, and she hadn't had the chance to ask. That was why she didn't know that they would have a bye tomorrow. However, she was delighted when she found out now. Since they had a bye tomorrow, she didn't have to worry about executing her plan tonight. Ning Rongrong couldn't help but smile when she thought about what she had obtained. After tonight, she would be together with Lu Yuan for real. Just thinking about it made her excited. "A bye again? Sister Erlong, who was our original opponent?" Lu Yuan asked. "Thunder Academy, the academy that Yu Tianxin and the others are in," Liu Erlong said softly. Her voice was very calm, and she didn't have any emotions just because Yu Tianxin was her nephew. In fact, Liu Erlong didn't have any feelings towards the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Thunder Academy? No wonder. Hearing Liu Erlong's words, Lu Yuan nodded slightly. Ever since Yu Tianxin was defeated, the Thunder Academy had long been afraid of the Heavenly Star Academy. In addition, both sides didn't see eye to eye, and Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing's strength, Yu Tianxin and the others were naturally afraid that Lu Yuan and the others would deliberately target them and beat them miserably. Therefore, it was normal for them to forfeit, because they knew that they had no chance of winning. Even if they went on stage, they would only be beaten. Knowing this, Lu Yuan didn't have any doubts about the Heavenly Star Academy's bye again. Moreover, a bye was a good thing, and he could celebrate tonight. "Oh right, Sister Erlong, I have something to tell you. Dean Flender and the others are also here. We just met today, I think you would like to meet them," Lu Yuan said with a smile. "Boss Fu is also here?" Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Liu Erlong was immediately happy. She looked at Lu Yuan and quickly asked, "Which room is Boss Fu in?" "He's in room 617 opposite you." "Are you going to meet him?" Lu Yuan asked. "Ian, speaking of which, I haven't seen Boss Fu in 20 years. Today is a good time to catch up with him." Liu Erlong nodded slightly, with a trace of reminiscence on her face, as if she was reminiscing about the days when she, Flender, and Yu Xiaogang roamed the world together. "Then you go, have a good chat. We'll start the banquet in an hour, so there's still plenty of time." Lu Yuan said with a smile. "Ian, then I'll take my leave first." Liu Erlong said her goodbyes and directly rushed to Flender's room. As soon as Liu Erlong left, Lu Yuan's gaze fell on Ning Rongrong. Seeing her slightly curved lips and excited expression, Lu Yuan smiled and asked, "Rongrong, where did you go in the afternoon? You look so happy." "Hee, I didn't go anywhere. Actually, I just went to prepare a gift for you," Ning Rongrong said with a smile. "Gift? What kind of gift?" Lu Yuan asked. "Hee, I can't tell you now. I'll tell you when we have dinner. I guarantee you'll be very happy when you see this gift," Ning Rongrong said with a smile. "I'll be very happy." Hearing this, Lu Yuan was a little curious. This girl was a little confident. With his current experience, there weren't many gifts that could make him happy. Did this girl really give him a very expensive gift? "Yes, you'll definitely be very happy," Ning Rongrong said softly. She thought to herself, after eating this, "You'll definitely be very happy tonight. I guarantee it." Chapter 637. "Oh, I'm a little curious. I want to see what gift can make me happy." Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he listened to Ning Rongrong's words. He finally understood that the reason why this girl didn't want him to accompany her in the afternoon was because she wanted to prepare a gift for him. When the time came, it would be a surprise for him. It seemed that he had thought too much. He thought that this girl wanted to do something private that she couldn't let him know about. That's right. Rongrong is so innocent. I don't think she's going to do anything private, Lu Yuan thought to himself. However, Lu Yuan was wrong this time. Ning Rongrong was innocent and kind. However, she had the personality of a little witch. She was bold and daring, and there were some things that she really dared to do. This was especially so for Ning Rongrong. She was still a woman. A woman could go crazy for her love, especially when she couldn't get what she wanted. If Lu Yuan wasn't careful this time, he might really fall for her trick. Ning Rongrong's gift was a little unusual. Hee. Ning Rongrong giggled and moved closer to Lu Yuan. Zhu Zhuqing was sitting on Lu Yuan's left, and Wang Qiu'er was sitting on his right. She really couldn't get a seat. She wanted to sit on Lu Yuan's lap, but she suppressed that thought after some thought. I have to endure it. As long as I succeed tonight, I can stick to him as much as I want in the future. Ning Rongrong, you have to work hard. Don't succumb to temptation. Ning Rongrong encouraged herself in her heart. Therefore, she moved a chair over and sat opposite Lu Yuan. The four of them started to talk animatedly. On the other side, in room 617, Flender had just finished playing Fight the Landlord and was resting in his room. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and Flender was jolted awake. Flender opened the door and saw a beautiful face outside. This beautiful face had been imprinted in the depths of Flender's mind for more than 20 years. Therefore, he recognized the identity of the person in front of him at a glance. "Boss Fu." Liu Erlong called out softly. There was a smile on her face. Erlong Mai." When he suddenly saw Liu Erlong, Flender was a little dazed for a moment. Liu Erlong was his goddess and also the woman he had secretly loved for 20 years. When they met, Flender's heart really went up and down. He opened his mouth and finally spat out the name that he had been repeating for 20 years. "Boss Fu, aren't you going to invite me in?" Liu Erlong asked with a smile. "Oh." Hearing Liu Erlong's words, Flender immediately reacted. He extended his hand and quickly said, "Sister Erlong, please come in." Liu Erlong smiled and walked into Flender's room. Liu Erlong sat down on the sofa and looked at Flender, who was sitting on the other side of the sofa. She said softly, "Boss Flender, we haven't seen each other for more than 20 years. Yeah, we haven't seen each other for over 20 years. You're still as beautiful as before, but I've already become an old man." Flender sighed softly. Hearing this, Liu Erlong smiled faintly and said, "Actually, Boss Fu, you look quite energetic." "Is that so?" When he heard Liu Erlong say that he was still energetic, Flender was delighted, and a smile appeared on his face. Flender was very happy that his beloved goddess said that he was energetic. "Yeah, you do look quite energetic, but there's a hint of sadness between your brows. Have you encountered any difficulties?" Liu Erlong asked. After hearing this, Flender heaved a deep sigh, and told Liu Erlong about Shrek Academy's bankruptcy from beginning to end. After that, he told Liu Erlong about Lu Yuan's invitation to join the Heavenly Star Academy. Flender didn't hide anything from Liu Erlong. Shrek Academy collapsed, and then Lu Yuan invited you to join the inner courtyard of the Heavenly Star Academy. Liu Erlong muttered softly after hearing Flender's words. She was actually a little touched. She was the one who had suggested the establishment of Shrek Academy, and it was just a casual suggestion. She didn't expect Flender to really establish Shrek Academy, and he even persisted for 20 years. She understood Flender's thoughts, but the one she loved was Yu Xiaogang, so she could only let down Flender's deep feelings. But now that Flender had joined the Heavenly Star Academy, it was a good thing. It was much better than having no place to stay and roaming around. "Yeah, Lu Yuan also let me be the vice dean of the inner courtyard," Flender said. "Is that so? That's great. I was originally the vice dean of the outer courtyard, but because there was no one in charge of the inner courtyard, I took on the role of vice dean of the inner courtyard. Now that Boss Fu is here, I'll leave the inner courtyard to you. You have experience in managing Shrek Academy, so it shouldn't be a problem for you to manage the inner courtyard," Liu Erlong said. "Yes." Hearing this, Flender nodded and expressed his agreement. "All these years, did Xiaogang not look for you even once? Are you still waiting alone?" Flender asked. After hearing Flender's words, Liu Erlong's face was a little gloomy. She said, "I've waited for him for more than 20 years, but he never came to see me. Boss Fu, I'm really in pain. Why is Xiaogang so cruel? I really miss him." Liu Erlong's voice was a little melancholy. She really missed Yu Xiaogang. It was just that she had waited for more than 20 years. As a woman, she had to face so many rumors and slanders. She was really tired and in pain. She really wanted Yu Xiaogang to appear by her side and give her a shoulder to lean on. It was just that this was all a fantasy. Yu Xiaogang had never shown his face. Sigh. After seeing Liu Erlong's appearance, Flender couldn't help but sigh again. He said, "I actually met Xiaogang in Shrek Academy 2 years ago. It's just that his attention was on his disciple, Tang San. After Tang San left Shrek Academy, he left with him. Since then, I've never seen him again." "Is that so?" After hearing Flender's words, Liu Erlong muttered to herself. She was a little dazed. So Xiaogang has found a new spiritual sustenance. If I'm not wrong, Xiaogang wants to prove his theory on Tang San. But is Xiaogang's theory really correct? Can Tang San really prove Xiaogang's theory? Liu Erlong thought to herself. Liu Erlong naturally didn't think this way. However, after seeing Lu Yuan's extraordinary combination of soul masters, she had a new understanding. Chapter 638. Xiaogang's theory might be useful for ordinary soul masters, but it probably wouldn't work for geniuses. What was a genius? A person who could do what others couldn't was a genius. In Liu Erlong's eyes, Lu Yuan was a true genius. Although she didn't know how much soul power he had now, just the yellow, purple, and black soul ring combination from 2 years ago had already broken Yu Xiaogang's theory. Even Zhu Zhuqing was a 10,000-year soul ring, which also broke Yu Xiaogang's theory. In the past, Liu Erlong worshipped Yu Xiaogang very much. She also firmly believed that Yu Xiaogang's theory was absolutely correct, but when the facts were placed in front of her, she couldn't help but believe it. Xiao Gang's theory might not be correct. Moreover, how talented could the Tang San that he found be? How could he help Xiao Gang prove his theory? If he wanted to be recognized by the world, then the person taught by Xiao Gang had to at least be unrivaled on the continent. Only when the disciple could run amok on the continent would Xiao Gang's theory be recognized by the world. This was just like the original work. Why was Yu Xiaogang's theory so quickly recognized and used by the entire continent? That was because Tang San had become a god. Just as Yu Xiaogang said, he had taught a god. It was precisely because of Tang San that Yu Xiaogang's theory could be accepted by others. Otherwise, who would recognize the theory proposed by a rank 29 soul grandmaster? Although Tang San was able to become a god mainly because of the immortal grass and the external soul bone, and it didn't have much to do with Yu Xiaogang, the master-disciple relationship was there, and that was enough. But now there was Lu Yuan. His soul ring combination completely trampled on Yu Xiaogang's theory. That's right, it was trampled. The so-called best soul ring combination theory didn't apply to him at all. Moreover, with Lu Yuan's talent, Liu Erlong didn't believe that Tang San could compare to him. If they really fought, Tang San would be defeated very quickly. Therefore, the road to proving Xiao Gang's theory was very difficult. Liu Erlong thought to herself. Right, Boss Fu, how is Tang San's talent? Liu Erlong couldn't help but ask. Not bad, but it depends on who he's compared to. Flender said. Compared to Lu Yuan? Liu Erlong asked. He's far from comparable. He once competed with Lu Yuan, and was beaten up by Lu Yuan without using his martial soul. He didn't even have the strength to fight back. Although Tang San is Xiao Gang's disciple, I have to say that I don't like him. Not only does he use some despicable poisoned hidden weapons, he doesn't even care about the lives of his teammates. Flender couldn't help but shake his head when he recalled the reason why Lu Yuan had violently beaten up Tang San. He truly didn't have a good impression of Tang San, especially when he saw how Tang Hao had actually bullied the weak. When he saw how Tang Hao, a titled Douluo, bullied Lu Yuan, a soul ancestor, he felt even more indignant. It was despicable to bully the weak. But fortunately, Tang Hao received his own punishment in the end. He was severely injured by the Dragon Emperor Douluo. But when he thought about his injuries, Flender recalled something else. When the Grandmaster came, he spent a lot of money to treat Tang Hao's injuries. Tang Hao still hadn't returned the money to him. Alright, Tang Hao is dead. He can't return the money. But Tang San is still alive. The son has to pay his father's debt. Yes, this isn't a problem. If I meet Tang San someday, I'll make him pay the money. Flender thought to himself. Is that so? Liu Erlong nodded slightly when she heard Flender's words. Her eyes sparkled. Inside Ning Rongrong's room. Room 605. This was Ning Rongrong's room. It was just that the door to room 605 was tightly shut. Even the curtains were drawn. Ning Rongrong was hiding inside alone, preparing for her big plan. How much should I put in? Ning Rongrong looked at the sealed bottles of wine in front of her, then looked at the blue granules in her hand. She tapped her chin lightly with her finger and appeared to be in deep thought. Those guards said that the effects of this medicine are very strong. It won't have any effect when it's first consumed. But after more than an hour, the medicine will slowly take effect. At that time, it will first cause hallucinations, and then it will become an aphrodisiac. No matter how strong a person's willpower is, it will be difficult to resist. At this time, if I add a woman to tease him, then something delightful will definitely happen. It's just that if I put in too much, the effect will be too strong. Will I be the unlucky one? But if I don't put in enough, and Lu Yuan's willpower is so strong, I'm afraid there will be a risk of failure. Ning Rongrong whispered. Forget it, I'll put in more. I'd rather suffer more pain than fail. Ning Rongrong said, her small face was full of determination. Fortunately, I prepared a few more bottles of wine. When the time comes, I'll distribute the wine to others. I'll watch Lu Yuan drink this bottle. At that time, hey, won't it be a success? Ning Rongrong laughed and then began to act. Opening one of the bottles of wine, Ning Rongrong threw in 4 blue granules at once. 1 granule of this thing was unbearable. If there were 4 granules, then it would be really powerful. As for Zhu Zhuqing, she can't hold her liquor well. She'll get drunk after 2 glasses. Why don't I just make her drink 2 glasses? Ning Rongrong waved her small fist and said. It could be said that for this big plan, Ning Rongrong had made sufficient preparations. She had taken into consideration all the things that were not necessary. This plan can only succeed. It can't fail. Ning Rongrong, do your best. Ning Rongrong said as she plugged the cork of the wine bottle. At this time, the wine was sealed with a cork. As long as one was careful, it wasn't difficult to tamper with it. Ning Rongrong took a few more glances at this bottle of wine that had been spiked. She memorized it deeply in her mind. After confirming that she wasn't mistaken, Ning Rongrong kept these things in her soul tool. She opened the door and walked out with her chest puffed out. Now that it was getting late, she directly rushed in the direction of the restaurant. The restaurant was already filled with people. Not only were there many students from the Heavenly Star Battle team, but there were also Flender and the others. There were also Lu Yuan and Liu Erlong. Everyone was here. Clap clap. Lu Yuan clapped his hands and attracted everyone's attention. Today is a day worth celebrating, because our Heavenly Star Academy has a new member joining our big family. These few people are all teachers who have taught me before. Their teaching standards are very high, and they have nurtured many talents. Now, I will be hiring them to be teachers in our Heavenly Star Academy's inner courtyard. This person is the new Vice Dean of our inner courtyard, Dean Flender. He is a rank 78 Soul Sage and is very powerful. Dean Flender is not only powerful, but he is also very famous on the continent. He is the leader of the famous Golden Iron Triangle in the world of Soul Masters. So now, let us all applaud and welcome their arrival. Lu Yuan said loudly. Chapter 639. Clap 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 clap. Lu Yuan's words were followed by a round of applause. Everyone from the Heavenly Star Academy warmly welcomed the teachers from Shrek Academy. Especially after they found out that Flender was a rank 78 Soul Sage, they clapped even harder. In the Douluo continent, in the world of Soul Masters, strength was always the most important. People would only worship the strong. This was human nature. Was it useful to just rely on your mouth? It was completely useless. If you only relied on your mouth and didn't have strength, people wouldn't even bother to pay attention to you. This was the current situation of the Douluo continent. These two are my companions. This fatty is called Ma Hongjun. His martial soul is a fire phoenix. He is a rank 35 assault-type soul elder. Don't judge him by his low rank. He's only 14 years old. He's an out-and-out genius. This is Oscar. Xiao Ao is the most talented food-type soul master I've ever seen. His martial soul is a sausage and he has innate full soul power. He's 16 years old this year and is already a rank 36 soul elder. In my opinion, he will become the first food-type titled Douluo in the history of the Douluo continent. His future is limitless. Lu Yuan smiled and introduced the Heavenly Star Academy's people. Hearing Lu Yuan's praise, Oscar and Ma Hongjun couldn't help but smile. They had always been proud of their talent. After all, they were monsters from Shrek Academy. However, Lu Yuan's next words completely shocked them. Dean Flender, teachers, Xiao Ao, and Fatty, I'll introduce you to the members of our Heavenly Star Academy. This is our team's control-type soul master, Fu Qinsheng. His martial soul is a 6-stringed magic zither. He's a rank 45 control-type soul ancestor. He's 18 years old this year. This is Dugu Yang. She's also our team's control-type soul master. Her martial soul is a jade-scaled flood dragon. She's 19 years old this year. The last one is my sister, Wang Qiu. Her martial soul is the same as mine, the golden dragon. She's a rank 48 assault-type soul ancestor. She's only 13 years old this year. Pointing at Wang Qiu, Lu Yuan said with a smile. 13 years old and a 48th level soul ancestor? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Flender and the others were shocked at the same time. This kind of talent couldn't be described with the word terrifying. Hiss, as expected of your younger sister. She's really not a family. If she doesn't enter the same house, her talent is probably not much worse than yours back then. Flender sucked in a breath of cold air and said softly. Hearing this, Zhao Wuji and the other teachers couldn't help but nod in agreement with Flender's opinion. Lu Yuan only smiled in response. Wang Qiu'er was the human form of the emperor beast. How could she not be talented? Boss Yuan, your sister is so beautiful. I have never seen such a beautiful girl in my life. Unlike the others, they were all astonished by Wang Qiu'er's abilities. Ma Hongjun was even more astonished by Wang Qiu'er's looks. It was important to note that Wang Qiu'er's looks were comparable to Chihiro Snow and Jiyu Yuana. She was even prettier than Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong. Ma Hongjun had never seen such a beauty before, and was momentarily stunned. After hearing Ma Hongjuan's words, Lu Yuan immediately glared at him and said sternly, Fatty, I'm warning you. Don't you dare have any ideas about my sister. Otherwise, don't blame me for being disloyal. Not to mention whether Wang Qiu'er had any intention of finding a boyfriend right now. Even if she wanted to find a boyfriend, she had to find someone outstanding. How could Ma Hongjun be worthy of Wang Qiu'er? In the eyes of Lu Yuan, who had a sister complex, only the best was worthy of his sister. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ma Hongjun immediately became listless. Oscar, who was beside him, also had a look of disappointment in his eyes. Even though Wang Qiu'er was younger than Lu Yuan by a year, she had the Golden Dragon's bloodline, and matured earlier. Her figure couldn't be compared to Zhu Zhuqing's, but she was still better than Ning Rongrong. Apart from her innocent personality, she didn't look any different from a 15-year-old girl. In addition to her beautiful looks, she was very attractive to guys. Oscar, who had always been single, had a good impression of Wang Qiu'er, just like how he had a good impression of Ning Rongrong. After all, a man's first impression of a woman would always come from her looks. Of course, it was the same for girls. After all, looks made sense. However, when he saw how Lu Yuan looked like he was going to fight anyone who tried to flirt with his sister, Oscar also let go of his thoughts. He couldn't afford to offend a siscon. When he saw Ma Hongjuan's expression, Lu Yuan smiled and said, Now that everyone knows each other, let's take a seat. It's not early anymore, and we can eat. I've already ordered the dishes. Then let's take a seat. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Liu Erlong immediately said. Everyone sat down at 2 tables. On one table were Flender, Liu Erlong, Zhao Wuji, and the other teachers, as well as Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing. On the other table were Oscar, Ma Hongjun, and some of the younger members of the team. After all, when young people gathered together for a meal and a drink, they basically became friends. After they sat down, the waiters started to serve the dishes. At this moment, Ning Rongrong suddenly ran to the empty seat next to him and sat down. Rongrong, why aren't you with them? Why are you here? Lu Yuan was a little puzzled as he looked at Ning Rongrong. Hehe, I want to sit with you, and it's too noisy over there. Ning Rongrong said in a sweet voice. Hearing this, Lu Yuan glanced faintly. Sure enough, under the leadership of Ma Hongjun and Ling Wei, the 2 groups of people who had just met quickly integrated into each other. They were talking and laughing, and the atmosphere was quite warm. Interesting, Fatty and Ling Wei are good at creating an atmosphere. Lu Yuan said with a smile. That's right, it's quieter here. Ning Rongrong said with a smile. Hearing this, Lu Yuan looked at Ning Rongrong strangely. If he remembered correctly, this girl should like lively places the most. She actually told him that she liked quiet and sat next to him. He was afraid that the first reason was the truth. She just wanted to sit with him. Did she need to find so many reasons? Thinking about it, Lu Yuan couldn't help but shake his head slightly. However, what Lu Yuan didn't know was that Ning Rongrong didn't just want to sit next to him. She had something important to do. Very quickly, the dishes were all served. The dishes for dinner were even more sumptuous than those for lunch. The ingredients on every table were no less than 1,000,000 gold soul coins. They were really eating money. Chapter 640. Teachers, let's eat. Seeing that the dishes were all served, Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. Okay, then let's eat. After Lu Yuan finished speaking, Liu Erlong's voice sounded. Immediately, everyone picked up their chopsticks. Lu Yuan, do you have wine? Liu Erlong asked. Today, she wanted to drink a little. Firstly, it was because she saw Flender. She was very happy. After all, she hadn't seen her big brother for more than 20 years. Today, she naturally felt happy. Secondly, Flender's arrival also awakened her longing for Yu Xiaogang. Thinking about how she had waited for more than 20 years without any results, she felt a little sad and depressed. With these two thoughts, she just wanted to drink to her heart's content today. Yes, let's get some wine. Today, I want to drink with Erlong. Flender sighed. He understood Liu Erlong's feelings, and his heart was also very complicated. He loved Liu Erlong very much, but Liu Erlong liked Yu Xiaogang. Moreover, Yu Xiaogang and Liu Erlong were cousins. Alas, fate really made fools of people. This year meant that cousins could marry each other. Cousins marrying cousins was actually very common in the royal family. For example, the Sionra Empire's royal family and the Zhou family had always been connected by marriage. The Zhou family's daughter would marry the royal family, and the royal family's princess would also marry the Zhou family's man. Strictly speaking, many of the Zhou family's children and the Star Luo royal family were cousins or relatives. However, wasn't it still a marriage alliance? They still got married. However, cousins were absolutely out of the question. According to tradition, cousins were considered outsiders, so they could marry each other. However, cousins were truly one's own people, so they couldn't marry each other. Otherwise, it would be a violation of human relations. Moreover, Liu Erlong and Yu Xiaogang's father were real brothers. Liu Erlong and Yu Xiaogang's cousin relationship was an ironclad fact. The bloodline connection didn't go beyond 3 generations. It was really an ill-fated relationship for them to be together. Even the royal family wouldn't dare to offend such a bloodline relationship. If they did, they would be scolded behind their backs. The emperor was high and mighty. He could even marry other people's daughter and take in other people's mother. For example, in history, Li Shimin married concubine Yang and had an affair with concubine Yang's mother, Empress Xiao. However, not many people criticized him because the emperor was a supreme being and had special privileges. However, if an emperor dared to take in his own blood relatives, such as his own cousin or aunt, then he would definitely be spurned by the world. He would definitely be called a fatuous ruler. This was the rule of this era. Although the Douluo continent wasn't like ancient Huaxia, it was actually the same in this aspect. It was precisely because of this that Liu Erlong had waited for Yu Xiaogang for over 20 years, and the pain and disdain she had suffered were truly indescribable with words. This woman was really suffering, just like Bibidon. Hearing Flender and Liu Erlong's words, Lu Yuan immediately said, "There's wine." Maybe the dishes were served too quickly. The wine is at the back. I'll get them to serve it right away. No need. I told them not to serve the wine because I have better ones here. Seeing Lu Yuan get up to get the wine, Ning Rongrong hurriedly stopped him. It wasn't easy for her to get to this step. If she served the wine, would Lu Yuan still be able to drink the gift she had carefully prepared? This was related to the happiness of the rest of her life. Oh, you have better ones. Hearing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but be slightly stunned. Then, a thought flashed through his mind and he instantly reacted. He asked, "The so-called gift you're talking about wouldn't be these wines, right?" "Yes, you're really smart." Ning Rongrong smiled slightly, and 5 or 6 bottles of packaged wine appeared on the table. The packaging of these wines was very gorgeous, and the wine bottles were made of high-quality warm jade. It was obvious that the price was definitely not cheap. This bottle is called Golden Fleeting Time. This bottle is called Flaming Rose. This bottle is called Azure Sea Spirit. This bottle is called Milky Way Dazzling Light. And this last bottle is called Blue Fairy. Ning Rongrong pointed at the wines on the table and introduced them one by one. Oh, sounds like they're not bad. Seeing Ning Rongrong introduce them one by one, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Of course they're not bad. These wines are very expensive. Every bottle costs more than 1,000,000 gold soul coins. The taste is very good, but the alcohol content is a little high. It's easy to get intoxicated. Ning Rongrong said softly. It doesn't matter if the alcohol content is high. After all, I have nothing to do tomorrow. Oh right, Rongrong, send 2 bottles to Qinsheng and the others. Lu Yuan said. Oh, okay. Ning Rongrong brought the bottles of Azure Sea Spirit and Milky Way Dazzling Light to Fu Qinsheng's table. Hearing that these bottles cost more than 1,000,000 gold soul coins, everyone rushed to try them. Chio'er, don't drink so much. If you get drunk again today, I'll spank you. Lu Yuan couldn't help but say when he saw that Wang Chio'er wanted to drink too. Got it, brother. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Wang Chio'er immediately shrank back. She listened to Lu Yuan the most. In front of Lu Yuan, she was always an obedient girl. Lu Yuan nodded when he saw how obedient Wang Chio'er was. He picked up a bottle of golden fleeting time and was about to open it when Ning Rongrong rushed back and stopped him. Lu Yuan, don't drink this bottle of golden fleeting time. Drink this bottle. I've specially prepared this bottle of blue fairy for you. Ning Rongrong took the bottle of golden fleeting time from Lu Yuan's hand and passed it to Flender. After that, she smiled and opened the bottle of blue fairy. The ocean blue wine was poured into the glass in front of Lu Yuan. There were even specks of silver light flickering in it, giving it a dreamy feeling. It seemed like the price wasn't without reason. This wine didn't look ordinary. Lu Yuan, drink it and see how it tastes. Ning Rongrong stared straight at Lu Yuan. There was a strange look in her eyes. Is this the present that you said would make me happy? Lu Yuan smiled as he picked up the glass and shook it slightly. Yes, this wine tastes very good. You'll be happy after drinking it. Ning Rongrong added in her heart, drink it. After drinking it, I will definitely make you happy tonight. Then I'll have to taste it properly. I'll see what it tastes like. Lu Yuan brought the glass to his mouth and sniffed it gently. Ning Rongrong's small hands gripped the corner of her dress tightly when she saw this. She was a little nervous. Even though this medicine didn't have any smell or aura, and the blue powder had completely dissolved into the ocean blue wine, Lu Yuan was still a pill refiner. Ning Rongrong was afraid that he would discover something. Chapter 641. But it turned out that Ning Rongrong was thinking too much. Although Lu Yuan was an alchemist, he was not a god. This wine was tasteless, and its color was completely covered by the wine. Lu Yuan naturally did not notice anything. He took a light sniff, and it was full of the wine's fragrance. It smells pretty good. Lu Yuan smiled slightly. Then hurry up and drink it. Let's see if it's to your liking. Ning Rongrong looked at Lu Yuan intently and urged. Hearing this, Lu Yuan could not help but look at Ning Rongrong with some doubts. This girl seems to want me to drink this wine quickly. Does she care about my opinion? Does she want to hear if I'm satisfied with this wine? Well, for the sake of this girl's good intentions, even if the wine's taste is ordinary, I have to give a good evaluation. I can't hurt this girl's heart. Lu Yuan secretly thought. But what Lu Yuan didn't know was that this time he was wrong. Ning Rongrong didn't care about Lu Yuan's evaluation of the wine. She cared about Lu Yuan drinking it quickly. Even if Lu Yuan's intelligence was far superior to ordinary people, he never thought that Ning Rongrong would have the courage to drug him. After all, Ning Rongrong had always been very obedient, and her temper had been restrained a lot, so Lu Yuan did not have much vigilance against her. This gave Ning Rongrong an opportunity. Without hesitation, Lu Yuan immediately took a sip. The taste was ice-cold, slightly sweet, and then there were layers of fiery spiciness, which made people unable to help but open their mind. After swallowing the wine, a hot stream went straight from the mouth to the throat. After the fiery spiciness, there was a fragrance in the mouth. The soft taste emerged like the waves, and it echoed in the mouth for a long time. This was indeed a very good wine, and it was indeed worthy of its price. Seeing Lu Yuan drinking the wine, Ning Rongrong's big sapphire-like eyes suddenly lit up. She suppressed the excitement in her heart and asked, "What do you think?" "Not bad." Lu Yuan smiled and downed the wine in the glass in one gulp. Seeing this scene, Ning Rongrong's eyes suddenly burst with intense joy. "Come, Lu Yuan. Have some food. Drinking alone is bad for your body." Seeing that Lu Yuan had drunk a cup, Ning Rongrong immediately poured another cup for Lu Yuan. At the same time, she kept putting food on Lu Yuan's plate. Lu Yuan has already finished one cup. The effects should be about there. However, to ensure that things go smoothly, I have to let him finish this bottle of wine, Ning Rongrong muttered to herself. But sometimes, things don't go as one wishes. "Lu Yuan, is this wine that good? I want to have a taste." Seeing that Lu Yuan was satisfied after drinking it, Flender's interest was piqued. "Dean Flender, I'll give it to you. There's still a lot left." Hearing this, Lu Yuan immediately handed over the bottle of Blue Elf. Before Ning Rongrong could stop him, the wine was already in Flender's hands. Flender first poured a large cup for himself, then poured a cup for Liu Erlong. Such a good thing naturally had to be shared with Erlong. Because the wine cups were very big, there wasn't much wine left after 4 cups were poured. Seeing Flender's actions, Ning Rongrong's heart was bleeding. This was for Lu Yuan. However, thinking that she had poured a cup for Lu Yuan, 2 cups should be foolproof. Thinking of this, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but slowly relax. However, seeing that Flender and Liu Erlong were already drinking, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but sigh inwardly. This time, it seemed that they had been accidentally injured. Hopefully, nothing bad would happen. However, they lived alone. Nothing should happen if they stayed together alone. Ning Rongrong comforted herself in her heart. "Zhuqing, let me give you a toast." Ning Rongrong took the golden fleeting time that she had snatched from Lu Yuan's hands and poured a cup for herself. She then left her seat to pour a cup for Zhuqing. She raised the wine cup and said to Zhuqing. She was ready to start her plan to deal with Zhuqing first. "I can't drink much." Zhuqing's alcohol tolerance wasn't very good. Yesterday, she only drank 2 small sips, and she already couldn't stand it. Today, she would definitely get drunk after drinking this cup. "It's okay. Anyway, we have a bye tomorrow. It doesn't matter if you get drunk. At most, I'll send you back," Ning Rongrong said with a smile. "Abuchi?" Hearing Ning Rongrong's words, Zhuqing's gaze couldn't help but turn to Lu Yuan. "Drink it if you want," Lu Yuan said with a smile. "Oh." Zhuqing nodded, then picked up the wine cup and gently took a sip. After a mouthful of wine entered her throat, Zhuqing's cheeks immediately turned red. Her cold and beautiful face was full of red. She really belonged to the kind of people who would get drunk after drinking a little bit of wine. However, with her cold temperament and rosy cheeks, she was quite alluring. It seems like there's still not enough wine. Although Rongrong's wine has a high alcohol content, there are still many people and there are only 5 bottles of wine. It's better to serve some more. Looking at Zhao Wuji and the others across from him sharing a bottle of flaming rose, Lu Yuan thought. He drank the blue wine in the cup in one gulp, then left to find the waiter to prepare more wine. And when Lu Yuan wasn't around, Ning Rongrong had no scruples. She clinked her wine cup with Zhuqing from time to time. Zhuqing was an honest person. She drank one mouthful after another without any ambiguity. She wouldn't pretend to drink anything. Moreover, she had always had a good relationship with Ning Rongrong. How could she have guessed that Ning Rongrong wanted to deliberately get her drunk? Therefore, she drank one mouthful after another. In a short while, half a cup of wine had gone down her stomach. Moreover, the alcohol content of this wine was very high. It was easy to get drunk, so Zhuqing was already a little shaky. After a while, Lu Yuan returned with a lot of wine. "Zhuqing, how much did you drink? Why are you so drunk?" Looking at the swaying Zhuqing, Lu Yuan's eyes had a trace of surprise. He had only left for a while, and Zhuqing was already swaying from drinking? "I didn't drink much, just a little bit." Zhuqing stretched out her jade-like hand and spread 2 fingers. She gestured slightly with a trace of naivety. She was really a little drunk. Your alcohol tolerance is really bad. Forget it, I'll take you back first. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing's appearance, Lu Yuan said softly. No, I'm not going back. I'll lie in your arms. As Zhu Zhuqing spoke, she actually really lay in Lu Yuan's arms and quickly fell asleep. You little girl. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing, who had fallen asleep in his arms, Lu Yuan couldn't help but sigh softly. He gently stroked Zhu Zhuqing's long black hair. His eyes were full of tenderness. And this scene was seen by Ning Rongrong. The envy in her pair of sapphires intensified. She looked at Lu Yuan and the corners of her mouth curled up into a smile. It would take about an hour for the medicine to take effect. Then, not long after the banquet ends, it would be time for her to perform. Ning Rongrong thought to herself. Chapter 642. The banquet lasted for about an hour before it ended. At this banquet, everyone was very open. As they ate and drank, many people were drunk. Ma Hongjun, Oscar, and Ling Wei's table. Apart from Wang Qiu, whom Lu Yuan had informed beforehand, everyone else was drunk. This was the first time they had met, and they were in a very good mood. In addition, Ma Hongjun and Ling Wei were also there to stir up trouble. Everyone was drunk as they drank. Fortunately, they had a bye tomorrow. Otherwise, tomorrow's competition would have been ruined. At Lu Yuan's table, Zhu Zhuqing was already drunk. She had already fallen asleep in Lu Yuan's arms. Flender and Liu Erlong had their own thoughts. Although they weren't completely drunk, they were already swaying. Their thoughts were blurry, and they could still walk, but they were staggering. Zhao Wuji and Li Yusong were also almost drunk. Xiao Xin was a food-type soul sage, but he couldn't hold his liquor. He had already collapsed. Therefore, Lu Yuan and Ning Rongrong were the only ones at the table who were sober. Lu Yuan didn't drink any less. He could hold his liquor well. Fortunately, Ning Rongrong had drugged him. If she had wanted to make Lu Yuan drunk, she would have failed. Everyone here might not have been able to make him drunk. His body was too strong, and his digestion was also very good. His alcohol tolerance was unbelievably high. As for Ning Rongrong, she was only sober because she had a guilty conscience. She didn't drink much after she made Zhu Zhuqing drunk. That was why she was sober. After eating and drinking, only a few people were still awake. The men were naturally sent back to their rooms by the attendants. As for the women, they were sent back by Ning Rongrong and Wang Qiu, as men and women shouldn't touch each other. As for Flender and Liu Erlong, the two who could walk, they were escorted back by Lu Yuan. First, Liu Erlong walked into her room. Then, he sent Flender back to his room. However, Lu Yuan forgot the most important thing. At that time, he only remembered to carry Zhu Zhuqing back to the room, but he forgot to lock the door of Flender's room. They went all the way to room 601, which was Lu Yuan's room. He placed Zhu Zhuqing on the bed, picked up the quilt, and gently covered her with it. The lass was still sleeping soundly. Her expression was tranquil, like a quiet and docile kitten. Coupled with her little face that was as red as an apple from drinking wine, she was truly adorable. Lu Yuan couldn't help but gently kiss Zhu Zhuqing's face. After kissing her, Lu Yuan found some clothes and went directly into the bathroom in the room to take a bath. After drinking the wine, his whole body reeked of alcohol. It would be quite uncomfortable if he didn't take a shower. As for Zhu Zhuqing, she was already asleep, and Lu Yuan couldn't bear to wake her up again. After bathing for a while, he was clean. Lu Yuan put on a bathrobe and sat on the bed. The hair on his head was slightly damp. Lu Yuan's bloodline power surged, and the heat was released. Soon, his hair was completely dry. He picked up a book on self-created soul skills. After flipping through 2 pages, he felt a little dizzy, and couldn't focus at all. Did I drink too much wine? Why do I feel a little dizzy? Lu Yuan rubbed his head, and there was a trace of doubt on his handsome face. My alcohol tolerance can't be that bad, right? It should be about time. In room 605, Ning Rongrong, who had washed herself clean and dressed up beautifully, looked at the sky and muttered to herself. According to the time, Lu Yuan's drug should be about to take effect. Okay, I'll go take a look now, Ning Rongrong said softly. As she spoke, she closed the door of room 605 and tiptoed towards Lu Yuan's room. Between Ning Rongrong's room and room 603 was Wang Qiuer's room. Although the door was closed, Wang Qiuer shouldn't be asleep, as she had only drunk a little wine. Therefore, Ning Rongrong, who had a guilty conscience, was afraid of attracting her attention. Therefore, she tiptoed very softly. This hotel room had very good soundproofing. Even if there was a commotion in the room, it wouldn't be loud enough to spread outside. Ning Rongrong tiptoed to Lu Yuan's room and knocked on the door. She wanted to test whether Lu Yuan's drug had taken effect. If it had, Lu Yuan wouldn't have the time to care about the knocking. If it hadn't, then Lu Yuan would open the door very quickly. Reality proved that Lu Yuan didn't have the time to care about the knocking. He was resisting the drug's effects. Share? Lu Yuan, who was in a daze, looked at the two smiling figures in front of him. He couldn't help but call out softly. He reached out as if he wanted to caress their faces. However, a clear light suddenly flashed in Lu Yuan's mind. He instantly sensed that something was wrong. Jiyu Yuana was far away in the Great Star Do Forest, and Chihiro Snow was in the Angel Realm. How could they be here? At the same time, he felt the blood in his body surging wildly. A strange desire surged from the depths of his blood and rushed into his mind. Suddenly, his eyes turned crimson. This wasn't because his eyes were filled with killing intent. Instead, it was because Lu Yuan understood this strange desire very well. In the past, he would have this desire whenever he was with Hulena and the others. However, this desire was very weak in the past, and he could resist it. However, this desire was 100 times stronger than before. Not good, I've been tricked. The clear chi scripture circulated wildly, and the white light of clear chi divine power was also activated. Lu Yuan was barely able to maintain the clarity of his mind. Under the effects of the clear chi scripture, the illusory realm had already disappeared without a trace. The illusory realm was easy to dispel, but the urge and desire that originated from his bloodline was extremely difficult to suppress. Furthermore, his bloodline was already on the verge of evolution, so it was extremely difficult to control. The clear chi divine power did indeed have the ability to eliminate evil spirits and calm one's mind. However, this impulse came from his bloodline, and it wasn't some kind of poison or evil spirit. The power of the clear chi divine power had already been weakened. Furthermore, Lu Yuan's control of the clear chi divine power was still very shallow, so the power that he could unleash was limited. As such, he couldn't completely calm the rampaging bloodline in his body. Right now, Lu Yuan was doing his best to resist the urge that surged in his bloodline. When did I get tricked? Lu Yuan's mind raced as he tried his best to restrain himself. I've always been very vigilant. The only people who can make me fall for it are the people around me. Everything I've eaten today was with Ju Qing, except. Chapter 643. Except for the bottle of blue spirit that Rongrong brought. The image of Ning Rongrong in Lu Yuan's mind instantly froze. He immediately determined the person most likely to have drugged him. Rongrong's actions in the afternoon were extremely strange. First, she didn't want Zhu Qing and me to accompany her. Then, when she came back, she said that she had prepared a gift for me and wanted to give me a surprise. I didn't suspect her and only thought that she wanted to please me. Then, when it was time for dinner, I realized that the so-called gift was actually just some wine that was specially prepared for me. I thought that Rongrong had prepared the wine for the banquet and left the best bottle for me. But now that I think about it, that's not the case at all. Something must have been added to the wine. This girl drugged me, and this kind of drug at that. What exactly is she trying to do? Lu Yuan pondered for a moment, then suddenly remembered the drunk Zhu Qing beside him. Realization dawned on him, and he made everything seem so simple and delicate. You stupid girl, how dare you? Lu Yuan couldn't help but curse in his heart. He wanted to find trouble with Ning Rongrong, but a fire suddenly rose in his heart. Lu Yuan hurriedly focused and tried his best to resist the surging of his blood and maintain his clarity of mind. However, as time passed, more and more of the drug's effects were released. This resistance was destined to not last for long. Lu Yuan, are you there? Outside the door, Ning Rongrong knocked, but there was no response. Hehe, it seems like it's about time. Ning Rongrong giggled and took out a strange key that was bright red all over. This was a strange soul tool that didn't have any other functions. Its only function was to unlock all kinds of mechanisms. This was an item that the Seven Treasures Glazed sect had kept for a long time. In the past, every time she sneaked into the sect, she relied on it to unlock the door. Now, she was going to use this thing to open the door to Lu Yuan's room. Catcher. This was the sound of the door being unlocked. Creak. Ning Rongrong pushed open the door to Lu Yuan's room. The room was brightly lit. Lu Yuan had just finished showering and hadn't turned off the lights to sleep yet. Seeing the bright room, Ning Rongrong was shocked. She thought that Lu Yuan was still awake. However, when she saw Lu Yuan sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed, his neck and face flushed red, she couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. Although it seemed that Lu Yuan was still conscious, the drug had already taken effect. Ning Rongrong closed the door and tiptoed over to Lu Yuan. She looked at Lu Yuan, whose eyes were tightly shut. Her sapphire-like eyes were filled with deep affection. She climbed onto the bed and sat in front of Lu Yuan. She looked at Lu Yuan, who was struggling with his bloodline. Ning Rongrong reached out her hand and gently stroked Lu Yuan's face. This was the first time she could touch Lu Yuan so intimately. So handsome. You're really handsome no matter how I look at you, Ning Rongrong murmured softly. Looking at Lu Yuan's peerless beauty, her eyes had a trace of blurriness. Her slender fingers gently stroked Lu Yuan's forehead, eyebrows, eyes, the tip of his nose, and finally stopped at Lu Yuan's chin. Gently lifting Lu Yuan's chin, Ning Rongrong's body moved slightly. She raised her head slightly and leaned forward. Her cherry lips directly pressed on Lu Yuan's lips. 4 lips intersected, and Ning Rongrong took as much as she wanted. Rongrong, she's kissing me? Lu Yuan's full attention was still fighting with his bloodline. Although he couldn't get away for the time being, he could still sense the situation outside, including Ning Rongrong entering the room, caressing his face, and then kissing him. This little girl, how dare she? Although he had already guessed it, when Ning Rongrong kissed him, his heart was still shocked. This little girl actually dared to do this. Wasn't she afraid that he would be angry? Lu Yuan wanted to open his eyes, but when Ning Rongrong kissed him, a musk-like scent came over, and Lu Yuan's bloodline rolled more and more violently. He had no choice but to concentrate on resisting this bloodline desire and try his best to maintain the clarity of his mind. Otherwise, if this desire really filled his mind, then he would really make a mistake that would lead to everlasting regret. 3 minutes later, Ning Rongrong released Lu Yuan. I finally kissed you. This feeling is really good. You always avoided me before. If you have the ability, you can avoid me again now. With that, Ning Rongrong pecked Lu Yuan's lips again and said with a chuckle. I know you're still conscious now, but you don't have time to care about other things, right? You're really amazing. My drug is very effective, but you can still resist it. If it were someone else, they would have already rushed to me after being kissed by me when they were drugged, but you didn't move at all. But even if you don't do it, it's fine. I can do it myself. Anyway, you can't care about me. You can only be at my mercy. Ning Rongrong said with a smile. Do you know what you're talking about? As soon as Ning Rongrong's voice fell, Lu Yuan suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were full of red. Looking at Ning Rongrong, his eyes were full of fierceness. You actually took the initiative to give up resisting? You chose to talk to me. This way, you'll get carried away faster. At most, in a few minutes, you'll completely fall into madness. Seeing Lu Yuan open his eyes, Ning Rongrong said in surprise. Is there a difference between early and late? Instead of being at your mercy, it's better to exchange for a few minutes of clarity. A few minutes is enough to kill you. Lu Yuan said faintly, with a trace of coldness in his voice. You You want to kill me? Ning Rongrong was shocked by Lu Yuan's words. Her pretty face suddenly turned pale and was full of disbelief. She expected Lu Yuan to be very angry after knowing this, but she didn't expect Lu Yuan to want to kill her. Lu Yuan didn't answer. He just looked at her and asked faintly, "Do you know what your behavior is called? Although I'm a man, the nature of your behavior is the same. It's no different from those men drugging women. If it were you, someone drugged you and wanted to have you, wouldn't you want to kill him? You probably can't wait to tear him into pieces." Lu Yuan said faintly. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong was silent. If she was in Lu Yuan's position, and someone dared to drug her, she would definitely tear that person into pieces. Ning Fengji and the others would even uproot the organization behind that person. This was the price one had to pay to offend the little princess of the Seven Treasures glazed sect. Similarly, it was the same for Lu Yuan. His status was even more prominent than Ning Rongrong's. Even the crown prince of an empire couldn't compare to him. The two strongest Soul Master organizations on the Douluo continent, the Martial Soul Palace and the Dragon King Hall, would be his. One already belonged to him, while the other already belonged to him. Behind him stood Long Xiaoyaro, Sendriu, and Bibidon, three ultimate Douluo. If anyone dared to have any thoughts about him, their fate wouldn't be described with the word pitiful. It would definitely be much more terrifying than that. Chapter 644. If Qian Renxue, Jiu Yuana, and the others knew that Ning Rongrong had drugged Lu Yuan, then her fate would be incomparably tragic. Even if she was the little princess of the Seven Treasures glazed sect, she would still die without a doubt. Even the entire Seven Treasures glazed sect would be buried with her. This was not a joke, they really had the strength to do so, especially Jiu Yuana. As long as she used all her strength once, the Seven Treasures glazed sect would be gone. Her current fighting power was comparable to that of a first-level god. What a terrifying existence she was. Let's not talk about Jiu Yuana, just Bibidon. Ever since she was raped by Chihiro disease, she hated this kind of forced thing. If she knew that Ning Rongrong dared to do such a thing to her beloved disciple, then Ning Rongrong would have no way to live. If Bibidon wanted to kill someone, the Seven Treasures glazed sect would not be able to protect them. Therefore, Ning Rongrong did not know that she had put herself on the edge of a cliff. If she was not careful, she would be smashed to pieces. Lu Yuan said that he wanted to kill her, but he did not really want to kill her. He just wanted to scare her away. After all, they had known each other for more than 4 years, and this girl was infatuated with him. Although today's action made him angry, he would not really kill her. Lu Yuan could not kill a girl who loved him deeply. He was a playboy, he was a scumbag, but he was not inhumane. On the contrary, he had his own bottom line. The reason why he said that was that he was afraid that if Ning Rongrong stayed, something bad would really happen between them. As he said before, he only had a few minutes of sobriety. After a few minutes, he could not control himself. The clear chi scripture and the clear chi divine power were running crazily, completely suppressing the blood in his body. Lu Yuan's eyes were red. He looked at the silent Ning Rongrong and asked faintly, "Who gave you the idea? Was it Ning Fengji who asked you to do this?" Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong shook her head and said softly, "No, it was my own idea." "Where did you get the guts to do that? What gave you the guts to drug me? Do you know what gave you the guts to do that? None of those who tried to scheme against me had a good ending. Do you want to follow in their footsteps? Or do you really think that I won't kill you?" Lu Yuan said with a chilling tone. At the same time, his aura rose and shrouded Ning Rongrong. How could Ning Rongrong, a mere rank 40 auxiliary-type soul master, resist Lu Yuan's aura? Her delicate body immediately sank, and her face flushed red. "What gave me the confidence? It's my love for you, you know? I've been in love with you for 4 years. Do you know how painful it was for me to miss you? No matter what changes I made, no matter how obedient I was in front of you, you always ignored me. Even when I mustered up my courage, lowered my face, and boldly revealed my inner thoughts before you, you still chose to run away. You know what? I'm about to collapse from waiting. I can't hold on any longer. I, Ning Rongrong, am not a woman who doesn't know how to love herself. I'm the little princess of the 7 treasures glazed sect. My status is not inferior to a princess of a country. If I didn't love you to the core, do you think I would do such a shameless thing? You want to kill me, right? Come on, kill me, kill me. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong could no longer control her emotions. She screamed at Lu Yuan loudly. Tears flowed from her eyes and slid down her snow-white cheeks. This time, she really didn't have any scruples. She really spilled out all her inner thoughts, as well as her resentment towards Lu Yuan for running away from her feelings. Seeing this scene, Lu Yuan was really stunned. Although Ning Rongrong's tone was full of resentment, the emotions contained in it were exceptionally strong. Although he had always known that Ning Rongrong loved him, he didn't expect her to love him to the core. He slowly withdrew his aura. In the face of such a passionate Ning Rongrong, he really couldn't say any harsh words. As his aura was withdrawn, the pressure that enveloped Ning Rongrong naturally disappeared. Her movements instantly returned to normal. Kill me. Don't you want to kill me? Ning Rongrong straightened her snow-white neck. Her ice-blue eyes were full of grievances and misery. Tears flowed down her face. She looked at Lu Yuan, but her eyes didn't give in at all. Her heart was actually covered with a layer of death wish. Rip! Ning Rongrong tore her clothes violently, completely exposing her snow-white body. She looked at Lu Yuan without any hesitation. Her eyes were burning, and her tone was full of determination. Today, unless you kill me, I must have you. With that, she directly pounced on Lu Yuan. However, Lu Yuan was Lu Yuan after all. Even if he was fighting with the bloodline in his body, he was at least awake now. Naturally, his skills weren't slow. He directly grabbed Ning Rongrong's shoulder and fixed her about an arm's length away from him. Lu Yuan was very strong. No matter how hard Ning Rongrong struggled, it was of no use. Hence, she simply stopped moving. You only have a few minutes to wake up. After a few minutes, you will still be mine. Looking at Lu Yuan, Ning Rongrong said faintly. Sigh. Looking at Ning Rongrong, who was almost naked from head to toe, Lu Yuan sighed softly and said, Is this really worth it? Using your own reputation to fight. Do you know how the world will look at you after today's matter is spread out? I know, but I don't care. I love you, Lu Yuan. I really love you. For you, it's just reputation. I don't care. Even if people point at my back and scold me, I will still be with you. Don't forget, I'm a little witch. Do you think I care about what others think? Ning Rongrong smiled and said. Her face was still full of tears. When she smiled like this, her expression was really strange. Wiping away the tears on Ning Rongrong's face, Lu Yuan sighed softly and said, I'm just a scumbag. I'm a womanizer. You're beautiful, you have status, and you're talented. Why are you still clinging on to me? You can totally find someone better for you. You're willing to tell a woman that you're a scumbag. In fact, you're not a scumbag anymore. At least you're responsible for your woman, aren't you? It's not a big deal for a man to have a few more wives. My father has several concubines. And most importantly, I only like you. I just want to be with you. And you've seen me naked. You have to be responsible for me. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong said with a smile. Chapter 645. And you have seen me naked. You have to be responsible for me. Looking at Lu Yuan, Ning Rongrong said with a smile. What if I don't take responsibility? Lu Yuan looked at Ning Rongrong with a strange smile and said, If I don't take responsibility for you even if I sleep with you, what will you do? Then I will kill myself with my sword and make you feel guilty for the rest of your life. Moreover, my ghost will continue to haunt you so that you will never be able to get rid of me. Ning Rongrong looked at Lu Yuan and said viciously, Wow, you are so unyielding. If I don't take responsibility for you, you will kill yourself with your sword. Lu Yuan asked with a chuckle. Chimph, do you really think I, Ning Rongrong, am a shameless woman? I like you, I love you, so I want you. But if you are not willing to accept me, I will not beg. I will find a place where no one is around to end my life. Ning Rongrong said seriously. However, you should be responsible for me. Don't you take responsibility after seeing my body? Ning Rongrong said with a smile. How do you know? Lu Yuan looked at Ning Rongrong with some confusion. Zhu Zhuqing told me. She said that you accepted her because you saw her body. Now that you have seen my body, you have to accept me, Ning Rongrong said. But you are different from Zhuqing. I took the initiative with Zhuqing, but you tore your clothes. It has nothing to do with me, Lu Yuan said. I don't care. Anyway, you have to take responsibility for me. Otherwise, I will die in front of you. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong pouted her little mouth and immediately began to act shamelessly. You are being shameless. According to you, if a woman comes to me and takes off her clothes, do I have to take responsibility? Lu Yuan said, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. I can only act shamelessly. Otherwise, happiness will leave me. Lu Yuan, I really love you. I have never loved someone so much. Without you, I feel like my life has no meaning. Ning Rongrong looked at Lu Yuan with eyes full of love. Really? Am I that important? Lu Yuan asked. It's true. You're that important. Don't what I've done today prove it? For you, I even threw away my dignity as a woman and did such a lowly thing. Not only did I lose face, but I also threw the face of the 7 treasures glazed sect to the ground. But I don't care. Because to me, you are more important than these things. As long as I can be with you, I don't want anything else. Ever since I first saw you in the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, I had a premonition that I would never be able to leave you. It was you who appeared in my life when I first fell in love. You have occupied all my love. With a gem like you before me, I will never fall in love with another man. Lu Yuan, you have to take responsibility for me. Ning Rongrong emphasized every word. Hearing this, Lu Yuan sighed softly and let go of Ning Rongrong's shoulder. He gently rubbed Ning Rongrong's head. Seeing this, Ning Rongrong took a step forward and threw her snow-white body into Lu Yuan's embrace. Are you silently admitting that you have to take responsibility for me? Ning Rongrong raised her head. Her ice-blue eyes sparkled as she looked at Lu Yuan with anticipation. What else can I do? Watch you die. You're such a brave girl, Lu Yuan said with a sigh. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong's sapphire-like eyes shone with dazzling light. She directly jumped up and hugged Lu Yuan's neck. She directly pressed her lips against Lu Yuan's and offered her own sweet kiss. Ning Rongrong looked at Lu Yuan and said softly, Hey, there are benefits to being bold. If I didn't do this, you wouldn't know how long you would have to drag this out. Hearing this, Lu Yuan fell silent. He didn't comment. After a while, Lu Yuan smiled faintly and said, I suddenly feel that us men are really difficult. What's wrong? Why do you suddenly say that? Ning Rongrong asked curiously. Look, if a woman likes a man and confesses many times, but the man doesn't like her and rejects her every time, people will say that the man is heartless, cold, and has no conscience at all. And if a man likes a woman and confesses many times and is rejected, people won't scold the woman, but the man. After being rejected so many times, you're really a bootlicker. Similarly, if a man likes a woman to the point of drugging her, he'll be called a scum, a pervert, a beast, and should be destroyed. And if a woman drugs a man, just like you, it's my fault for drugging me. It made you abandon the 7 treasures glazed sect and your own dignity to do such a lowly thing. This is a display of your love for me. If I don't take responsibility for you, you'll commit suicide and won't let me go even as a ghost. Tell me, isn't it difficult for us men? Lu Yuan spread his hands and said helplessly. Fart. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong burst into laughter and lay in Lu Yuan's arms. She had to admit that Lu Yuan was telling the truth. I won't do it in the future, Abuchi. I promise that since you've accepted me, I'll be very obedient in the future. I'll listen to everything you say. Ning Rongrong stroked Lu Yuan's face and said seriously. Are you sure? Can I believe the words of a little witch like you? What if you don't listen to me in the future? Lu Yuan asked. I'm sure. If I don't listen to you in the future and mess around, you can spank my butt, okay? Ning Rongrong quickly said. No, how about this? If you don't listen to me in the future, I'll dump you. What do you think? Lu Yuan said with a smile. Nothing, please don't. Listening to Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong's face changed and she quickly stopped him. You have to give me some time to change. I'll try my best to listen to you, but sometimes I can't control my character. Can't you be a little more tolerant? If that's the case, that's fine too. I'll take a step back and not get rid of you. In the future, if you mess around again, I'll leave you for half a year until you change this little witch's character, Lu Yuan said. Ah! After listening to Lu Yuan's words, Ning Rongrong's face suddenly became bitter. Although her character was restrained a little and she could basically be obedient in front of Lu Yuan, she couldn't guarantee that she wouldn't mess around at all times. When she thought that if she messed around, she would have to stay away from Lu Yuan for half a year, Ning Rongrong's heart was bleeding. The consequences were a little serious. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.